I'm live. Welcome to the watch along. I saw in the let me know in the chat, whoever is watching, and there's one of you at the moment, guys. Thank you so much. I say guys, guy, woman, whoever it is, probably my mum, maybe my girlfriend, watching this watch along for the England versus Ireland game. Really, this is a tech check more than anything at this stage, because I've not done a watch along for my I'm going to say studio, but let's just call it my room. So can you hear me? Let me know in the chat. Look, I'm going to say in the chat here I am. Can you hear me okay? As we're here for the Ireland versus England Nations League. Yo, Yannick, in the chat. First in the chat, Yannick. Lovely to hear from you, mate. Can you hear me okay? That is the main question at this point. We can hear. Brilliant, Yannick. So I kind of realized that this wouldn't be a huge hitter in terms of viewers because, let's face it, nobody cares about the international game, especially not the Nations League at the moment. But I can tell you it's Nations League, League B, Group 2. And alongside Ireland and England in this massive group of death, Greece and Finland. Absolutely mega. And as Ireland and England are introduced to on the pitch to what can best be described as one of the oldest men I've ever seen in the history of time. Just before the game starts, I will read you out the teams. I'll read all 8 of you out the teams. We are cooking with gas here, guys. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this Ireland versus England Nations League game. Please do get in the chat because it's going to be a very long day indeed, unless we all get to chat. Yannick Emo says, have you appeared on any channels apart from We Are Tottenham TV? Well, Yannick, I'll tell you what, I'll do the teams first. And then I'll talk all about my career in sports digital and how I came back to football digital, even how I came back, how I came to make my own channel. Teams are England team, Jordan Pickford, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Harry Maguire, Mark Gahey, and Levi Colwill at left back. That makes up the back four. Declan Rice, Jack Grealish as the 2 ex-Ireland players, and Kobe Mainu in central midfield. And then Anthony Gordon out left, Bukayo Saka on the right, and Harry Kane, Sir Harry of Kane, playing up front. The bench includes everybody else from the squad, too many to even name, but the ones I'm looking forward to potentially seeing: Rico Lewis. I'm intrigued as to why John Stones isn't starting ahead of Harry Maguire. Morgan Gibbs-White, Angel Gomez, Eberechi Eze, who I wanted Spurs to buy this summer, and Noni Madueke, ex-Tottenham Academy player. So that is the England team. The Ireland team: Kelleher, Coleman, Collins, O'Shea, and Brady. Doherty, ex-Spurs. Hello, Doherty. Matt Doherty. Malumbi, Smallbone, and Schmodic, and Ogbeni and Ida up front. So Yannick, in answer to your question, yeah, so basically back in 2015, I got a job. I just applied for a job where the job description was, are you passionate about football and do you have a background in production, kind of TV production or any kind of production? And my background was working in television, kind of developing ideas for the likes of BBC, MTV, people like that, etc., etc. So I applied for this job and I got the job running a Tottenham fan channel. And as Moses Rankin, thank you for joining, says in the chat, that was the original Spurred On, and that ran for about 18 months, 2 years. And we had brilliant presenters like the likes of Rhys James and Craig Mitch, Emma Story, amongst others. And I did some presenting too, and went all around Europe following Spurs. And that channel, Spurred On, the original one, got to about 20,000 subscribers. And then the company who were funding it pulled the plug. And then I got the job running the Football Republic, which was a bigger channel, a bigger YouTube channel and digital channel. And we had about 300,000, 400,000 subscribers. And I took Reese across with me and we made comedy football content, and that was really fun. So yeah, lots of other channels. I've also appeared on Football Daily. I've worked for Copper 90 at a couple of different times. So yeah, thanks for the question, Yannick. Really appreciate it. That has been kind of my journey to now having this channel, which as any of you who hopefully watch daily know, is kind of now a mainly Tottenham channel, but also I try and keep you abreast with the current Premier League news. But this is my first watch along from this channel, and as I'm sure you know, a lot of you, I do the watch-alongs for the Spurs games on We Are Tottenham TV, and long may that continue because the boys are lovely to me and they're great lads. And so if you don't subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV, make sure you do. Please do press that like button, guys. 5 of you have liked it already. If we can get that up to, there are 23 of you watching, we can get that up to 10 likes, maybe more people will be able to see it. Moses in the chat says, you were a fantastic presenter on that. That's why I found you. Great presenter. Love your work. Moses, thank you so much. And now live, you get an insight into my studio, aka my bedroom. Very, very exciting. We're now into the national anthems now that they've They've stopped introducing the dignitaries. And obviously there was a bit of a furore this week, wasn't there? Because Lee Carsley was asked, wasn't he? Carsball, the new interim manager of England, he was asked, will he be singing the national anthem of England when, even though he was born in England, I think Birmingham, he played for Ireland over 20 times. And he said he wouldn't. And as a result, the Daily Mail, someone in the Daily Mail and the likes of Jamie O'Hara has said that he should be sacked already. The interim manager being sacked just because he won't sing the national anthem. And straight away, there is a camera on him. And as he said, he would not be singing it. I'm actually quite excited to see Carsball. He obviously won England the under-21s, an under-21s international tournament last summer. Not many managers have done that. And he did it playing a progressive, forward-thinking, attacking style of football. So long may that continue for England's international first team, because that is what we've been missing. We've been getting the results. We got to a couple of finals, and now we need to play the football that will make it enjoyable to watch. Yannick says, will you be on the watch along for We Are Tottenham TV for the Arsenal game? Yes, I will. I believe so anyway. Unless I hear anything different, I will definitely be on that. Yes, I'm nervous about it. That's for sure. As I mentioned earlier, just as the Irish sing their national anthem at the Aviva Stadium, which is a lovely stadium, I've always thought, but also kind of interesting how it's only kind of got one stand behind the goal that is high and the other one is pretty low. Don't know why that is. It must be something to do with, I reckon, the architecture around the stadium and not getting planning permission. Yeah, as they go through the Irish national anthem, again, in front of a very, very old man and someone in the military, I'm kind of intrigued as to why Harry Maguire has been picked ahead of John Stones. My guess is that it's because Stones hasn't been playing much at the start of this season for Man City because he was in the Euros during the summer, and Maguire has played for Man United. El Dante, afternoon, Barnaby, you good? I am good, and thank you so much for being a member. Guys, as I always say on my daily videos, please do become a member. Only £1 a month really helps me to make this content for you, and all the details are in the description box below. Taj, is it Taj or Tage? Degaland says, a studio in your bedroom, what kind of content are you recording? Well, wouldn't you like to know, Tage? I was actually thinking earlier on, I wonder when the football digital world, football digital influencers will move on to OnlyFans. It is only a matter of time, guys. And I'll tell you why. Because OnlyFans are already investing in non-adult content. They've done a comedy competition. They're trying to get comedians to go over there. So it is only a matter of time. It's probably happening already. So, yeah, Tage, your little, I know what you're getting at there. It probably won't be that long, to be honest. But as far as I'm concerned, all bedrooms should have a big picture of Diego Maradona, the greatest footballer of all time, arguably, but certainly one of the great naughty boys of all time as well. El Dante says, happy to be a member, have to support the good content creators of the community. I appreciate that. Mike Barrow says, I'm well spurred. Don't mind my company, I hope. Absolutely not. Gareth Bale, Ben Davis. I mean, the list goes on. Nope, that's where the list ends, in fact. But certainly, Gareth Bale, actually, there's a bit of a story behind when Gareth Bale signed for Spurs. I was at the Isle of Wight Festival, and let's just say I was having far good a time. And even to this day, my friends remember and often take the mickey out of me because when Muse, the band, were on headlining the Isle of Wight Festival, I was just spinning around in a circle saying Gareth Bale, Gareth Bale, Gareth Bale, because we'd signed Gareth Bale and I'd seen enough of him at Southampton, even then, to know that he was going to be an incredible player for Tottenham. Brennan Johnson, Moses Rankin, absolutely right. How could I forget Brennan Johnson, who, by the way, I do really like Brennan Johnson. He gets a lot of stick, but I think he's going to become an excellent player for Spurs. And my prediction is that will happen when he kind of grows in confidence and feels like he's one of the important members of the squad. At the moment, I think it's right for him to be an impact substitute more than anything. That's where he plays his best football, but certainly in the long term, I think he'll be a great player for Spurs. No real official left back for England today. Again, Shaw and, obviously Ben Chilwell, who I think is an excellent player, just being frozen out at Chelsea. So Levi Colwill is going to play that. I do know, from the little I know about Lee Carsley, that he really trusted Levi Colwill when he was playing in the under-21s. So I imagine he'll be putting his foot on the ball and becoming more of a third centre-back when we've got the ball, with Trent Alexander-Arnold pushing into midfield. Mike Barrow says, I go back to Mike England. Yep, fair enough. Cliff Jones, one of the legendary most legendary Welsh players of all time. So fair enough. El Dante, thank you again for writing. He says, Eza should have started ahead of Grealish. I mean, I think you're probably right. But I wonder, actually, whether Grealish will be playing somewhere kind of like in a more of a number 10 type role, with Mainu and Rice behind him. I know that in the under-21s, Carsley liked to have a proper kind of number 10. I think it was Gibbs White who did it for the under-21s a lot. Guys, we're up to 11 likes. I love it. Smash that like button. 48 viewers. 48 viewers, concurrent viewers. Loving this, guys. My first live watch along on this channel. Thank you so much. For any of you who are not members or who are not regulars, please do press subscribe as well. Daily Premier League content, starting with my beloved Tottenham Hotspur. Today, though, England. Let me know in the comments, guys, some of your England journeys. What was your first match that you remember England playing that you watched? And yeah, let me know some of the highs and lows that you've gone through. Moses, thank you, mate. He says, what do you think about Maddison not being in the squad? Do you think he can get back in the team? I think it might be a bit soon for Maddison. I think he started well this season, but I actually do not mind at all when he doesn't get in the squad. Should say the match has started and England trying to play some good stuff around the back line as Ireland press them high. I don't mind when he doesn't get picked for England at the moment because he needs the rest all the time because he just never quite recovered from that injury last season for Spurs, did he? And as a result, all the rest he can get so he can continue his decent start. Harry Maguire just sitting on the ball here. Ireland not really pressing the back four high, particularly, kind of more of a mid-block at the moment. Trent Alexander-Arnold playing a beautiful long mid-range ball into Anthony Gordon on the left. I'm excited to see play because I love his pace. And he just sits on it and he was offside. I will say about Anthony Gordon, though, I do like him, but one of the worst blonde peroxide decisions I've ever seen. I know it's rich for me to comment about anyone's hair because I get a lot of people commenting on my channel about my hair issues, but I'm not into Gordon's peroxide, to be honest. So yeah, do you think he'll get back in the England team, Maddison? It would surprise me at the moment, but I think he'll get back in the squad, but I just can't see him starting anytime soon. El Dante, I've only been to one England match live, which was England 4, Holland 1 in Euro 96. Lucky you. Teddy Sheringham in his absolute heyday for England, scoring at least one, setting one up with a beautiful little, tell you what, good chance for Ireland to get the ball in the box. And it's a corner to Ireland there, sorry. And a little bit of scrappiness here on the sidelines. They've not cut back to it yet. Okay, let's see what happens there. But anyway, Ireland have won a corner. They got into the byline there. Cross, I think it's from O'Brien. Gay clears it off for a corner. And this will be, Ireland will want to make chances from set pieces. Certainly before the game, Roy Keane was saying on the punditry, yeah, it was Jack Grealish and I think Seamus Coleman who got in a little bit, Malumbi, sorry, and Jack Grealish. They're obviously going to try and pinch Grealish, aren't they? They're going to try and wind him up, see if they can get him sent off. But yeah, that Holland-England game, 4-1, amazing. El Dante predicts a 3-0 England win. My prediction, I don't know. I think this will be tough. There'll only be one goal in this. Ireland will be bang up for this. And they've got a new manager, haven't they? That Icelandic manager who beat England when we were under Roy Hodgson. What was it, 2016? Yannick Emo, did you hear about Basuma goal for Mali? I did. In fact, I saw it. It was a banger. Corner comes in. Chance. Oh, huge chance at the back post for Ireland there. The ball came across. It looked like it might have got a little touch from a defender at the front post. Let's have another look. Yeah, no, it was a defender at the front post. Maguire gets a little flick on it and it lands square on the head of the Irishman coming in at the back and he puts it over the bar. Oh, wow. That would have been perfect for Ireland, wouldn't it? A perfect start, but it didn't happen. And as a result, Pickford, as Jordan Pickford loves to do, puts the ball down and he wants so desperately to kick it long straight away. I recently watched, obviously, the Spurs-Everton game and Pickford just playing it long the whole time. Actually, do you know what? Pickford, the whole England backline cleared up to the halfway line there, and Pickford just pinged out Trent Alexander-Arnold on the halfway line, and that was a nice little mid-range ball. Anyway, back in the chat, guys, once again, thank you, all 47 of you who are watching, and all 18 of you who've pressed the like button. Thank you so much. Do get in the chat with me as well, though, because let's face it, this is international football, and I will be kind of, giving my thoughts as we go along, but also there'll be plenty of boring time where we can get in the chat. Yeah, so Yannick, I watched the Basuma goal. Very good. Gus Parker, considering the stadium nonsense, Maddison, Solanke not being regular internationals and being Spurs big signings is pretty telling. Gus, tell me what you mean by the stadium nonsense. I don't really know what you mean by that. But yeah, get back in there and let me know what you think. Tage Degelin, Maradona is my house god, but is old enough to have Campes as my first hero. Yeah, Mario Campes. I'd never watched much of him myself, but I hear he was an incredible player. El Dante, R9 and Batistuta, my non-Spurs and England heroes back in the day. For any of you who are too young to remember the original Ronaldo, just go and watch the documentary. He was El Phenomenon. Incredible player. And my girlfriend is Brazilian, and she has him as her favorite ever player, and rightly so. Guys, get in the chat. So far, this game is kind of pretty classic England international stuff. Bit boring, but England are trying to play out from the back. They're being a bit braver than they were under Gareth. And as I say that, Levi Colwell just hacks it up into the channel for Anthony Gordon to chase. Kobe Mainoo trying to do some work in midfield, and actually Maguire steps in there and hacks it once again into the channel for Gordon to chase. It's probably time, I'd say, to mention the man himself, Harry Kane. Obviously, big, huge hero of mine from his Spurs days. And let me know in the comments what you think about Kane moving to Bayern Munich. Was it the right decision? Do you think in the long run it will prove the correct decision for him in terms of trophies won? For me, I think he's got to win the Champions League at Bayern Munich. Otherwise, it won't be deemed to be a successful move for him. Because, I tell you why, because Alan McInally won the Bundesliga at Bayern Munich. And no one talks about Alan McInally as one of the great strikers of our times or of the past few generations. So Kane, even if he wins the Bundesliga, which I'm sure he will, but hasn't yet, it won't be enough. And yeah, he needs to win the Champions League there. Do you think he will under Vincent Kompany? Let me know. John Mooney, didn't know you did watch-alongs on your channel. Well, this is the first one, John. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm planning on doing more. I'll still be doing the watch-alongs on We Are Tottenham TV, but I think I'll be doing some watch-alongs for the big Premier League games here as well. So please keep an eye out for that. I'll put it always in the community channel. I'll tell you what, England have played a decent ball into Anthony Gordon. This is where a lot of the trouble seems to be brewing for Ireland. Gordon gets to the byline, left foot cross, just over Bukayo Saka at the back stick. But Trent Alexander-Arnold picks it up. Beautiful cross from Trent. Kane! Oh, it was a great chance for Kane. He's about 9 yards out. Trent Alexander-Arnold doing Trent Alexander-Arnold things with a beautiful whipped cross in. And Kane is unmarked, and he will be disappointed. The pace was all on the ball. He just needs to nod it. He gets a good head on it. They're just going to show the replay now. Yeah, what is he? Yeah, he's about 9 yards out. Tell you what, not only is it over the bar, but it was straight as well. So even if he'd kept it down, I think the keeper would have been okay. But good chance for England. Good to see them making chances. Gus Parker, the stadium narrative to compete, even though we were when we left under Poch and get the best players. Well, I know, Gus, thank you for writing in firstly. I know a lot of Spurs fans get very frustrated about the fact that Spurs built a new stadium and looking to grow through growth of infrastructure. However, that was a 20-year plan, basically. That had been decided pretty soon into Daniel Levy and Enoch starting the club, joining the club, sorry. And therefore, it was just kind of chance, I think, that Poch was doing well just before the stadium was built. In fact, the plan was for the stadium to start bringing in the revenue that would allow us to compete, to buy players, and get in the Champions League as a result. So actually, we got in the Champions League a good few years in advance. And so therefore, I think it's a bit more nuanced, unfortunately, than just saying, we were competing and then because of the stadium we stopped competing. I don't think it's quite as simple as that. But listen, football is subjective and everybody's views are absolutely valid. Stephen Paul Cornwell, thank you so much for your message, mate. I really appreciate it. He says, come on England, you can do it. England B team has a great goalkeeper. Who is the England under-21s goalkeeper? Let me know, Stephen. I can't think off the top of my head who that is. Tage, thank you, mate. He says winning the Bundesliga is worth as much as winning the SPL with Celtic. Oh, look at this. Harry Kane coming deep again. Lee Carsley obviously happy with him coming deep rather than just staying up in the 9. Look, Harry Kane is the best 9/10 in the world. So I think you're stupid if you're a manager and you don't want to utilize that. Oh, good bravery from Trent there. He was under pressure, but he finds Jack Grealish in the field, who's now flowing. Yeah, speeds it up. I love the way that Grealish actually slows the ball down, then speeds it up to take defenders away. Gordon into Mainoo, into Declan Rice now. Let me know, any of you who are Spurs fans, how you feel about watching Declan Rice for England. You've got to say, he is a good player, unfortunately. And England now slowing it down in midfield again. One of the things that that Lee Carsley is all about is slowing the game down so that the opposition are forced to press. And we're playing some lovely stuff through midfield now. Gordon and Grealish comes to the edge of the box, but comes back again. And they're just looking to recycle and move the Republic about. Mainoo now tries to play a ball through, but it's flicked into Kelleher, the goalkeeper. Tage, yeah, I said that. El Dante, do you know how Sean is, Barnaby? Not heard anything from him or about him for a while. Sean? Which Sean are we talking about, El Dante? Let me know. Up to 53 viewers, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. 27 likes. I especially appreciate it, guys, because I know how little interest there is in international football these days, let's face it. But this is a new birth for England. It's a new journey. I actually have a feeling that Carsley will get the job full time, you know. It would not surprise me at all, the same way that Southgate did. Let's face it, the fans and the press, all they're looking for is England to play progressive, brave football, and Carsley will do that. And we've got the players, we've got the experience to get results as well. So it wouldn't surprise me at all, although I do think that the FA are kind of hanging on to, not employing anyone officially at the moment because they want to see if Pep can do it. But Ireland have won a transition high up the pitch here, and they're in on the left. It's going to be a shot. Oh, Pickford's flicked it wide, but he should have caught that. Still in the box now. England have got players back, though. Comes out to Doherty, Matt Doherty, ex-Spurs, of course. And I think England passed the ball back to Pickford there, but the ref's given a play on because we were fouled. But, the ball was won high up the pitch from Mainu, I think, and it came out to the left-hand side, and we had a shot. And Pickford, as he did for Everton against Spurs, choosing to kind of not catch the ball. And as a result, Ireland, had a secondary chance there. It was disappointing. Al Dante says Sean who walks his dog and talks about Spurs. Oh, England are in with Anthony Gordon. Oh, Keller makes a good save. Gordon's got the ball again. Flicks back to Kane. Good block. Chance. Goal. Declan Rice. And he refuses to celebrate. Lol. Absolute lol from Declan Rice refusing to celebrate against the country that he previously played for. So Anthony Gordon was through on a one-on-one. Kelleher makes a good save from a pretty average shot from Gordon. It comes back out to Kane, who tries to get a shot on it, but it's well blocked. And the rebound falls to Declan Rice, opens his body up, places it in the top left-hand corner. And you couldn't write that script, could you? Have we got any Irish fans, sorry. It started, by the way, from a beautiful through ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold, my word. And that's why you have him in the team. As I said, Gordon, well saved by Kelly. It comes out to him wide. He dinks a little cross in. It's not a dink, along the ground. And it falls to Declan Rice pretty much exactly on the 12-yard spot, the penalty spot. And 1-0 England. Going to make a little note of that. 1-0 England. Declan Rice. I just said, Spurs fans, how do you feel about Rice playing? But you've got to celebrate when he scores for England, haven't you? And he's actually apologising to the Irish fans. I don't think that's going to hold much water for them. They hate him. They call him a snake. Because for any of you that didn't know, Declan Rice and Jack Grealish both played for Ireland. Grealish, I think, maybe only for the unders, but Rice, actually, it might be the other way around. One of them actually played for the national full team in a friendly and then changed around. El Dante, anyway, thank you. Yes, Sean, who walks his dog and talks about Spurs a lot, has been on all the major channels as a guest, wears a cap. So, Ireland are in. England have lost it just outside their own box. And they've given away a free kick. And it's a booking as well for Rice straight after. England gave the ball away outside their own box there. It was Kobe Mainu, bad touch. Oh, I'll tell you what. So it's Kobe Mainu who gives away the foul. It'd be Mainu who's booked as well. It was a bad foul, but he's just trying to make up for his own mistake there. Mainu booking. And it'll be a free kick in a very dangerous area for Ireland. Sorry, to answer about Sean Butler. I've spoken with Sean a couple of times on WhatsApp, but I've never met him or spoken to him on any channels. But from everything I've heard, he's been hacked. And that's why he's not producing much content at the moment. So anyone who knows Sean, or Sean, if you manage to come across this, I hope everything's all right with you, mate. He's a really great Spurs content creator. Really rate him. Angela Kim. Thank you so much for commenting. England played better than they were in Euros. So you're saying that in this first 13 minutes, we're playing better. We're certainly trying to be a bit more brave. I'd say that's for sure. Gus Parker, 20 years, sadly, I'll be dead by then. Oh, well, you're a decent commentator. Better than Sam Matterface. Yeah, well, Sam Matterface, a little more of a journalistic background than me. Also, if you haven't ever seen what Sam Matterface tweeted to his then girlfriend, one of the other Sky Sports presenters, dig that out because that was hilarious. He got a little bit caught. I think he thought he was sending a DM and he sent it to everybody. It was very funny. Eddie says, miss Sean's financial knowledge. Yeah, that's right. I'm sure Sean will be back, as will his dog. But thank you. Yeah. If I hear from Sean, I did WhatsApp him recently, but I didn't reply. Here comes Ireland's free kick anyway. Here it comes. And it hits the wall. Secondary chance on the volley, half volley, sorry, and England get it away. And there's a break on for England potentially here. Yep, Rice has done well. It's a 3-on-2, 4-on-2 for England here. He's got to pick out the correct ball here, Declan Rice. Oh, he's played a horrible ball, but chance for Gordon. To Kane! Oh, 2 saves from Kelleher against Kane already in this game. It comes back to Mainu, who is actually called Mainu. I don't know why I called him Mainu. Declan Rice outside the box. Lovely ball into Saka. Takes a left foot shot. Cleared. And Rice in with the big 50-50. But no, England had another chance there to make it 2-0. But it didn't quite happen. And quite an exciting game so far for an international match. This Nations League, cooking with gas here. El Dante. Yeah, Sean is a good guy. At least he seems like it from little we see online. Please send him my best if you do talk with him, Barnaby. Yes, I will do that. Josh Hayden, thank you so much for sending in a chat. Really appreciate all of you chatting at the moment. 61 of you on the watch along at the moment. Really appreciate it. Josh said, did you see United Spurs of America's video on Tottenham away? I did not. I do know the Tottenham away boys. I did one debate on their channel because they're pretty angry with me, the Tottenham away boys, for being kind of glass half full and being positive about Spurs. I didn't see that video. Josh, explain in the chat what that video is all about, and then I'll check it out after this huge England-Ireland 6-pointer. I shouldn't be this relaxed watching a football match, but yeah, the Nations League, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I went to the Nations League semi-final in Porto, actually, when England were 1-0 up against the Dutch a good few years ago in the early Southgate days, and then we got it turned around. I'd love us to win it. Obviously, Ronaldo loves the fact that he's won it for Portugal. But we're a fair way away from it now because we're basically got relegated. We're in the second division. And we will win this group, I'm sure of it, and go up. But we won't get to play in that first division again for a good while. Grealish wins a free kick there from Seamus Coleman, actually. Jack Grealish, potentially the best player in the history of the Premier League at winning free kicks, I'd say. He knows exactly when to feel the touch from the defender and go down. El Dante, I don't like Spurs away's negativity, but everyone can think what they want to. I just want to dream, not fear. I agree. I'm a dreamer. And yeah, I'm pretty old myself. And I just think because it's taken so long to get anything really great for Spurs, although I choose not to forget the fact we reached the Champions League final just 5 years ago, and I never thought I'd see Spurs in the Champions League final, and I went to Madrid for that Champions League final. So I don't feel as negative about it as a lot of people do. I felt very lucky to get to see that, even though it was only 22 seconds of joy. But guys, all 62 of you, thank you so much for watching. Please do keep getting in the chat. England looking relatively comfortable other than a couple of transition balls, although Ireland, yeah, good defending there from Colwell, actually, as Ireland looked like they might make a chance, and Saka clears up, and England once again now trying to play it across the back line a little bit. When I think about England not playing football out from the back, it doesn't make any sense. All these players, literally all these players, play football out from the back for their clubs. And especially if you look at the players we got from Man City who are the best at doing it. John Stones, who's on the bench today, Rico Lewis, Grealish, so many people who are just so used to that kind of football that it makes no sense that we wouldn't. And that's what England need to improve at so far. Not so far, but going forward. Let me know in the comments who you think will be the next England full-time manager. Do you think it'll be Eddie Howe from Newcastle? I don't. And also, the way that Eddie Howe plays, where he's quite tactically pragmatic, that's not something I think England need at this point. I think they need someone who's going to use the incredible talent pool we've got and just go hell for leather, forward thinking, absolutely try and smash teams up the way that Big Ange Postecoglou does for Spurs. Noah S. Grealish better than Michael Owen at diving. I mean, winning free kicks. Well, Michael Owen is a different player. I know what you're saying, but Michael Owen was just playing at such pace all the time. Any touch at that speed is going to be a free kick. And Gareth Bale used to get accused of being a diver, and he was more of a diver than Gareth Bale, but than Michael Owen. Sorry. But it's just the pace they were at. So I know what you're saying. El Dante, I much prefer Postecoglou to any of our managers since Pochettino and much prefer our playing style. I completely agree. But if you were to say that to some of the upset Spurs fans at the moment, just because we got 1 win, 1 draw, and a defeat at Newcastle where we played beautifully, you'll get abused. Eddie, thank you, Eddie, for commenting. I really appreciate it. Not sure Maguire is a natural playing from the back. So I know what you mean, but because he looks cumbersome, Maguire, but he is pretty comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's got a rick in him, hasn't he, Maguire? A few times a season at least, he will just pass it straight to the opposition. So I know what you mean, but he can do it. I know he can do it. Robert Wilson, Ange will be the next manager of England. Do you know what? There was a report a few months ago, or a couple of months ago after Southgate handed in his notice that they were interested in Ange Postecoglou. And I said it on my channel. It would not surprise me at all if England wanted to have a chat with Ange Postecoglou, because he would be absolutely, he would refuse to play any way other than just get it forward and score as many goals as you can. And it would be fun. But I think Ange feels like he's got a job to do at Spurs. Oh, lovely ball. Lovely stuff from England. Kane just on the edge of the box, tries to play it through, doesn't get there, and Ireland win the ball back. There was some just good little triangle there from England, 1 and 2 touch stuff, but didn't quite come off in the end. And Ireland now trying to break through. Well played by Colwill, and Kane picks up the ball now again, central midfield, and he's played a beautiful ball through to Gordon. They're using Gordon as the outlet all the time. His pace is really stretching Ireland here. Gordon lays it back to Grealish, running into the box. Oh, and Grealish tries to find Kane, and it's well spotted, and Ireland get the ball forward. Postecoglou, I think he would be a good England manager, but I think Postecoglou, although he usually only stays at clubs kind of 2-3 seasons maximum, I don't think he'll be looking to leave Spurs until he has done something incredible. Or, of course, until Daniel Levy pulls the trigger, which I'm pretty hopeful he won't do anytime soon, because he knows that Spurs are playing football the right way, and we're in the middle of the, quote, trademark, Pochettino, as in Pochettino's words, painful rebuild. Kane is basically playing as a mix between a 6, an 8, and a 10 in this game. What have you thought of this game so far, guys? Let me know in the comments. Also, thank you so much, all 73 of you on this watch along at the moment for the Ireland versus England game. Please do press that like button. Really helps other people get to see it. Kane just picking up the ball basically in the attacking midfield role now, lays it off to Grealish. It's quite fluid, this system, Carr's ball at the moment. They like to get players around the ball, England, so they can play their little triangles. Gay into Saka, back to Gay, and just opens it out now to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's got the freedom of the right-hand side. Lays it back into Saka. At the moment, Ireland basically playing... Oh, lovely turn from Mainu from a ball through to him. And I was just going to say Ireland basically playing Eddie Howe ball at the moment. 11 men behind the ball, and England kind of toying with them, I'd say. Let's have a look. Thank you, El Dante. Again, I think we appear a lot more positive on the ball. I think Kane looks fresher than he did during the Euros, and there's been some good link-up play and attack. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Harry Kane, I said this a lot during the summers. Jack Grealish just loses the ball in midfield there, and Ireland are in on the right-hand side here. Let's have a look. Chasing back is Levi Colwill. And they choose not to get the ball in the box, and they come back now with Ida, I think it is. It's Ogbene, I apologise. And England nick it. Grealish nicks it to Gordon. Kane with a good turn, and he's hacked down in midfield by Smallbone. And that's a free kick to England. Eldan says, I think, we're more. Oh, yes, Kane, sorry. I think Kane was as bad as low as kind of 60% fit during those Euros. And it would not surprise me at all if he was taking pain-killing injections. I was saying that at the time. And I have to say, Gareth Southgate had to be braver and drop Harry Kane for Ollie Watkins, in my opinion. And he didn't. And in the end, I think we suffered from that. And as a result, we did not win that tournament, which we could have done, although the Spain team were, of course, amazing. David Abikimi, thank you so much, David, for writing. Really appreciate it. Much like the under-21 side that was managed by Carsley, says this team is playing more fluidly. Yes, I agree so far. It's been nice to watch. It's less stodgy than a lot of the England performances I've seen down the years. And Gay plays it out to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Let me know, guys, in the comments what you think of Trent Alexander-Arnold for England. I think let's utilize him the way that Liverpool do, and we seem to be doing that. Given him, he plays off the right-hand side as the right back, but basically a kind of free role when we have the ball. Grealish on the left now. He's lays it back to Colwill, and England just start again at the back over to Gahey. Gus Parker Kane had 0 service in the Euros, but got a lot of stick. It's true. It wasn't like he was missing loads of chances, but he was leggy. To say the least, I think he was leggy. What England are doing nicely at the moment is a lot of fluidity in terms of the changing of positions. Mainu will swap in for Rice, and Mainu's actually on the ball now and gives it inside to Trent, who comes in from off his right flank into central midfield. Ireland giving Trent probably a little bit more space than they should, knowing how good he is at through balls. Rice gets it off him, and then Colwill is available on the left and comes back. what do you guys think about the situation of Ben Chilwell at Chelsea? I think it's absolutely disgraceful that he's been frozen out. And that's going to affect England over the next few months as well. The only options for him are either to go to like Saudi Arabia or Turkey or somewhere on loan. I can't see that happening. Grealish now, just running towards the 18-yard box, lays it out to Gordon. Ireland have all their men back again. I think they've been burnt a few times by the space they've given Gordon on the counter-attack. Kane now kind of playing in the 10 role a little bit into Rice. England have lots of players around the ball all the time at the moment. We see and a good ball in there to Saka. He's on the byline, cuts it back nicely, lays it into Rice, but it's seen by the Irish defender and he hacks it out for a throw-in. Ireland 0, England 1, 25 minutes gone. And it's been a good start for Lee Carsley so far. Do you think we will see Grealish playing more for England now? I think a lot. Let's see how he plays in this game, really. He seems to be, Carsley likes him in that kind of number 10 role. He is a proper old-fashioned playmaker. If I was Jack Grealish, I'd be getting out of Man City. Let me know what you think in the comments about it. I'd be leaving there. I'm sure he's on loads of money, but not getting any game time at all, really. I know he did start the last game, didn't he? But that was his first start for City for a long time. And, I'd love Jack Grealish at Spurs. He'd be a proper old-school Spurs player, Jack Grealish. Oh, lovely play from England. Rice is in. Chance for Grealish, actually. It's a goal! 2-0, just as David Ebekimi. Thank you. David Ebekimi said, do you think we'll see Grealish playing more for England now? The 2 goal scorers for England at Ireland, Declan Rice and Jack Grealish, who have both played for Ireland previously, who in the crowd, the Irish have got banners up calling them snakes, and they've both scored. The ball was cut back to Grealish on the edge of the box, and he sweeps it home right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. England 2-0 up. Beautiful stuff. Let's have a look at this football. So it's Declan Rice. He gives it into Mainu. Gets it back. Little 1-2 with Bukayo Saka. Cuts it back from Rice to Grealish, who's about 16 yards out. Sweeps it in, bottom left-hand corner. Beautiful stuff, England. England absolutely putting Ireland to the sword. And Sam Matterface describing it as swagger. England playing with swagger. And apologies for the silence there for a second. I can't write and speak at the same time, and I'm just making some notes so I can remember where all the goals have scored from. Tage, thank you for writing in. Guys, 72 of you watching this with me at the moment. Really appreciate your support. 44 likes. Let's get that up to 50 likes, guys. 50 likes as England are putting Ireland to the sword at the Aviva. They're in a bit of a dangerous position here, Ireland, let's face it, because they're going to have to try and see if they can score some goals, but England have some pace on the attack, on the counter-attack with Anthony Gordon potentially. So, and Gordon actually now running at Ireland through the centre of midfield. He's a bit on his own here, and he wins a free kick, does he? Yeah, he does. He wins a free kick. Well, yeah. Which LK, thank you for your first comment today. Which LK says, what a goal. Completely agree. Tage said, agree that Southgate had to be braver to make that decision, same as Poch in the Champions League final. You're right. But I feel Kane has a part to play in both situations. Yeah, Kane he will have been insisting on playing. I have to say, if Harry Kane hadn't started in the Champions League final, and Lucas Moura had, and we'd lost in exactly the same way, Pochettino there'd have been calls for him to be sacked. So I think it was a difficult position for Poch. But Alf Ramsey, I'm going back to 1966 here. Alf Ramsey dropped Jimmy Greaves from the final of the World Cup in favour of Jeff Hurst because Jimmy Greaves had a bit of an injury. Greaves wanted to play, and Hurst scored a hat-trick. The rest is history. And Greaves was universally known as the best goal scorer England had. It was a tough decision, but he had to make it. And Southgate wasn't strong enough to make it. And arguably, I'm not necessarily disagreeing, Taj, but Poch had a decision to make too. Mike Barrow, I like Trent Alexander-Arnold because anything that winds Mark Goldberg up. Do you mean Mark Goldbridge? Must be good. Gus Barker, definitely Spurs should have taken him before. I think it was 12 million or something stupid. You're talking about Jack Grealish there. Well, not just because Grealish just scored a goal, but I just think Grealish is just such an archetypal Spurs player from back in the day, as in just all about flair, wants to score beautiful goals and make beautiful assists and win free kicks and then score those free kicks. I'm not sure exactly how he'd fit in under Ange, but, I'd love to have him at the club. Eddie, good if the score was displayed by me. Yeah, if these watch-alongs become successful, if people want to watch these watch-alongs, then I'll definitely sort out the graphics. Don't worry about that. This is the first watch-along, and I really appreciate you so far. 53 of you liking this, 79 of you watching it at the moment. Really appreciate it. Definitely get in the chat, guys, if you're watching. As the ball comes back to Jordan Pickford, who lays it out to Harry Maguire, and he gets it to Levi Colwill. England start again. Colwill into the channel towards Gordon, but it doesn't quite come up. David, again, Ebakimi, thank you, mate. Though I do agree about Ben Chilwell, the injuries have hampered his career. Agreed. Chilwell is pretty injury prone, it's fair to say. He should consider taking a step back, take a wage cut, and play for a club that would give him playing time. Yeah, well, clearly no clubs came in for him, really, or certainly that were willing to pay the money that Chelsea were looking for. So Chilwell just kind of on ice at the moment. He'll get some chance to rest his injury proneness, that's for sure. Mainu looking for the big one over the top towards Saka. Saka just pressing Robbie Brady there. And Smallbone clears it for Ireland. David Ebakimi again. Yes, great article on David Pleat in The Athletic. It was. I've read it as well, David, actually, and I'll be talking about it on my video on Monday morning. So keep an eye out for that, guys. As ever, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please do press that subscribe button now. I bring you daily Premier League content, always starting with my beloved Spurs. And I'll also be bringing you more of these live watch-alongs for not only the England games, but also for some of the big Premier League games as well. Lisa, thank you so much for writing in, Lisa. And Laren Deb, thank you so much, both of you guys, for writing in for the first time. Let's keep going with this chat, guys. Loving talking to you during this watch-along. Laren Deb says, Grealish might fit, not certain. Lisa says, agree, would love to have Grealish at Spurs. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if Ange would go for it. The issue I have, and that I think Ange wouldn't really be up for buying players off Man City, is he definitely wants players for Spurs who want to go on the journey themselves and not who have been on the journey already elsewhere. He wants players who understand what changes it's going to take as England just were down the right and goes out for a goal kick. He wants players who are basically kind of, I think, up for it and want to build from the very bottom of a project. And I think to get in players who have played for Man City and have been, on 200 grand a week, that's not really going to work for Tottenham. And I kind of agree with Big Ange on that. Let me know, Spurs fans, what you think about that. Gus Park says, Jack over Maddison. I think so. Well, I love James Maddison, but it wouldn't harm us having more options. Lucas Bergvall at the moment, I think, is the backup for Maddison. And I'm very excited to see Lucas Bergvall play. He got his second cap for Sweden just the other night. He got about 15 minutes for them under Dejan Kulusevski, captain Sweden. Ireland now coming in down the right. Harry Kane looking to challenge. They got a cross in here, Ireland. Oh, they had a chance at the back stick. It's one of the worst headers I've ever seen at the back stick from Ida, and goes out for a goal kick. But Ireland, making a bit of a play forward there. So well done. Mike Barry, the Greaves thing got me starting following Spurs in the first place. Well, Mike, thank you so much. It's good to see a wide demographic of fan base people watching this show and this channel. Really appreciate it. John Mooney, John, thank you so much for writing in. Mike as well, thank you so much for writing in. Really appreciate it. Would love to see more of Archie Gray. Looks class. Our own Declan Rice in the making. Yeah, listen, I think Archie Gray does look great. He looked really impressive during pre-season when he was playing centre back, where you could see the whole game. I thought that was a good blooding for him from Big Ange. And look, I know with Big Ange, if they're good enough, they're old enough. So Archie Gray will get minutes this season. I know a lot of people have seen our Europa League, Spurs' Europa League fixtures, and think they're easy, but I think there are some tough games in there. But I think the likes of Gray and Bergvall will get minutes. Will get minutes. England now coming forward with Grealish again. Oh, real chance for Anthony Gordon. Could be a penalty as well. And the ref hasn't given a penalty. Harry Kane was about to line up a shot, and he got taken out from behind. Is there VAR in this game? Let's have a look what happens here. Kane. Well, it's definitely a penalty on Kane. It should be a penalty on Kane there. I think the fact that it then broke to Anthony Gordon, who had a shot on goal, which was blocked, kind of gave the referee almost the chance not to give us a penalty there. But the defender got his left foot across Kane, takes him out there. Kane appealing for the penalty, not given. So there we go. Laren Deb says Saka is the best. At what? I do love Bukayo Saka. He's one of the very few Arsenal players that it's hard to hate. But yeah, he's a great player. I do love him. Let's see. David, once again, Ebakimi. If Grealish did join Spurs, can he and Maddison play together? I don't know. I think Grealish is better as a 10 than left wing. Well, that's kind of clearly what Lee Carsley thinks as well. And look, I think we should just play players who are playmakers in playmakery positions, and that's why Grealish is playing in the 10 today, and it's pretty exciting to see him. He's already got a goal, of course. Lisa, hi Lisa, thanks again for writing in. Love Bergvall, he's very good already, and will just get better and better the more he plays. Completely agree, and also just how handsome are some of these players that Spurs have bought recently. Mickey van der Ven, Jack Bergvall, Lucas Bergvall, some of the most handsome footballers I've seen in a long time. As England get it out to Grealish out wide left, where he loves to kind of come out wide left, doesn't he, and get the ball from there. Plays into Mainu, who finds Trent Alexander-Arnold in the central midfield. Plays in Grealish again between the lines. Grealish turns, gets it back to Trent. Oh no, it's out to Saka. Saka's got Trent with him. Saka tries to face the Irish up, comes back inside. A lot is happening narrow for England, but it seems to be suiting them at the moment. Mainu, back out to Trent. I'm going to just call him Trent now. I realize now why commentators just call him Trent Alexander, which usually really winds me up because he's double-barreled. He's not Trent Alexander, another name Arnold. He's Alexander-Arnold, but it's actually hard to say when you try and say it all the time. Trent Alexander-Arnold. So I'm just going to call him Trent from now on. England just kind of toying with Ireland in central midfield at the moment. Mike Barrow, Bergvall will be better than Maddison IMO. Well, he's very young. Let's see what happens, but he's a beautiful player, and I think it's a good. Oh, lovely little dummy there from Mainu in midfield. Back to Anthony Gordon on the left. Oh, and a good run from Saka to the byline. Tries to cut it back, but Smallbone clears it for Ireland. Yeah, I don't think Maddison is a bad player for Lucas Bergvall to learn from, to be honest. I think he's a really good person for a good player for Bergvall to learn from. Someone who always wants the ball, and that's what Maddison is. Let's face it, we've had enough players at Spurs down the years, and England, frankly, who are a bit scared of how the crowd are going to react if they make a mistake. And what I love about Maddison is he's always desperate to get on the ball, make things happen. Trent tries to chip one through now, and it's cleared for a corner. Good run from Declan Rice in behind the Irish backline, and a good clearance for a corner. England fans looking very happy in the England end there. Gus Parker, yeah, Bergvall looks like he was made in a lab. Larendeb, Radu Dragusin is the handsomest of all. Well, look, I think it's totally subjective. Dragusin looks he's a beast, isn't he? Looks like he could cause you trouble, Radu Dragusin, if you got in a intimate situation with him. Max Valentine, who suits you, sir. Yeah, exactly. Look, I'm not afraid to say it when a man is good looking. I don't want to kiss them, but when they're good looking, you just got to say it. Saka with the in-swinging corner, and it's cleared at the front post. Secondary clearance now, and Grealish under some pressure. And it comes back to Mainu on the halfway line, who's going to, I assume, find Pickford. Oh no, Mainu looks to turn and plays a lovely ball out wide to Saka. And he could have, a lot of former England players or players for former England managers would have gone back to the keeper there, but Mainu brave enough to keep going forward, and I like that. I really do. Josh Hayden, really looking forward to the Coventry game once Gray and Bergvall start. Listen, I agree, but don't forget, Coventry, FA Cup semi-finalists last season, nearly turned Manchester United over. In fact, they would have been in the FA Cup final had it not been for a very arguable VAR decision late in that game. So it will not be easy, that game against Coventry. And after Big Ange made the changes for Spurs in the Fulham Carabao Cup game last season, he will want to get a win, and a comfortable win, in that first Carabao Cup game, I'm sure. Larendeb, Dragusin is a heartbreaker. Okay, yeah. Noah S. Anja Ibrox might be interesting, making today's booing of God Save the King seem tame by comparison. Yeah, I know what you mean. Anja's already mentioned, hasn't he, that he expects the Ibrox faithful to give him an interesting, in his words, reception. Gordon and Kane both just pressed Kelleher, the keeper there. And as a result, he had to clear it to England's players. And we got a chance. Kelleher has to clear from Harry Kane. Nearly 3-0 there. It was a chipped cross in, I think, from Saka. And nearly a chance for England there. But Ireland clear it. Oh, and Jack Grealish wins yet another free kick. He's getting kicked all day long. And that time it was Matt Doherty, who does not look like he cares at all. It's like, if you're going to play for Ireland and then give up on Ireland, you're going to get kicked. They're just showing the replay of that chance. Yeah, Saka, lovely little whip cross in, and Keller has to be brave. Keller has to be brave as Kane comes in for what would nearly have been an easy head. It was just over Kane's head, actually. 78 of you guys watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. With 60 likes. That is sweet, sweet engagement, guys. I really appreciate it. Lisa says, Lauren Deb, I must agree, Radu Dragusin is the most handsome of them all. There you go. And we've got a little side chat going on between Lisa and Lauren Deb there about who the hottest Spurs player is. Fair enough. Porro is most handsome, according to Card, Caardd. Thank you, Card, for writing in. Pedro Porro, he just looks like a handsome Spaniard to me. If you're going to write down handsome Spaniard and how to draw one, you'd draw Pedro Porro, wouldn't you? As Trent Alexander-Arnold whips in a free kick, but it goes over everybody for a goal kick. Incontinentia. Thank you for writing in for the first time. Incontinentia. Handsome Davis, definitely a contender. I assume you mean Ben Davis. He's a gentle boy, isn't he, Ben Davis? What a lovely boy. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Ben Davis became a good manager. I mean, he's quiet, but I bet tactically he's pretty good. And I think keep Ben Davis at the club for as long as we can. What a pro. I really love him. El Dante, you know what I think is funny? Southgate said he didn't send teams out to play that way and be boring. Southgate is gone and we play completely better. Well, Trent there just with a cross. I know what you mean. I think Southgate... What do I think of Southgate? I think he was a brilliant man manager, and he changed England from top to bottom. There was so much politics around England, and the fans hated England when Southgate came in. So that's a huge part of it. And I think the FA should have tried really hard to keep Southgate on as kind of technical director so that he could still make the big decisions about which hotels to stay in and all that stats and data-driven approach he did towards the penalties and stuff like that. Totally brilliant. But I just think he's quite a pragmatic man. He was a centre half, don't forget. And I don't believe that he said, let's be defensive. But I also believe that in terms of his pragmatism as a man, it probably came across. And England, you know, the personality of your manager, I think, will come across when the pressure hits. And whereas Lee Carsley is pretty much, he's pretty open about the fact that he just wants them to play good football all the time. And he wants them to sit on the ball where necessary, bring the opposition out. And actually England are transitioning here. It's 2 against 3. Grealish through the middle, finds Kane now, 1-on-1. He's going to look for his left foot. I think he is. It was a bit obvious. And Seamus Coleman, gets in front of it. Kane then just not looking the quickest. He used to be a lot snappier bringing that onto his left foot to get a shot across to the bottom right corner, but it was telegraphed by Seamus Coleman there, and it's a corner for England. Got some more comments. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. David Epikemi again. David, one of my men, top man. Says, are you surprised that Spurs didn't go and bring back Jack Clarke from Sunderland? Would have been a baller under Ange. Yeah, he's just a bit lightweight, Jack Clarke, isn't he? That's the only reason I think Spurs wouldn't have done that, because would have counted as a homegrown player. Alan Glauber, thank you, Alan. Appreciate that. Porro handsome, maybe for a chimpanzee. Appreciate you writing in for the first time, Alan, but a little bit abusive there. Not sure about that one. Seawick 9000. God, I wish my name had 9000 at the end. US playing Canada later, going to be a banger. The next Poch project. Has he actually officially signed on yet, Poch, or is there another manager managing the USA? I have to say, I was totally shocked that Poch agreed to join America. I know America got the World Cup in a couple of years, so I'm sure there's a lot of money in it and a chance to make a name for himself. But I don't know. I've been thinking a little bit in the last week or two, actually. I wonder if Poch has taken a job like that, thinking 2 years, maybe then the Spurs job will come up again. Maybe Ange Postecoglou will be here for another 2 years and that's it. A couple of spicy challenges in midfield here and a couple of England players down as well. Grealish finds Trent in left back, and Trent tries to find Harry Kane, but it's telegraphed and Ireland clear it. Anyway, Mike Barrow, Coventry make me queasy from 1987. Yeah, Gus Parker, Ireland just a breakdown left with good pace here from Ireland, and a terrible final ball goes out. Oh no, it's still on just about. They're looking to cross it to the back post, but they're going to get another cross in here from the right. Doherty. It's a poor cross and easily cleared by England, but it comes back out to Coleman. A little bit of pressure from Ireland here within the last couple of minutes of the first half as England lead 2-0. Cross comes in, cleared nicely from Gay, and it comes out to Anthony Gordon. Gus Parker asks, what would the Spurs boy band first album be called? Not Getting Many Minutes. Oh, and there's been a bad foul there on Anthony Gordon from Schmoditz, is it? He's another man with a bad... That was the battle of the Peroxide boys there. Schmoditz goes through Anthony Gordon from behind. That should be a booking, but probably won't be because it's just not in a very dangerous area. Intercontinentia answers the Spurs boy band name. More money than God, but nothing to spend. Okay, you guys keep going with that. I love it. Mike Barry, Coventry make me queasy because obviously Spurs lost to Coventry in the 87 Cup final. That's actually the first Spurs game that I remember watching. David Epikemi, it is early days. Let's see how this England team play against the better nations. Agreed. Would they play the same way? Who knows? Yeah, I know what you're saying. Absolutely right. And seems harsh to go in on Ireland. This is their first game under their new manager as well, the Icelandic coach. But so far, they've been ripped open by England a good couple of times. There have been a few other chances for England as well. And let's face it, tough game for England going to one of their local derby grounds away. And 2-0 up just as we approach half-time. England just have the ball now with Jordan Pickford in an all-orange outfit, gets it out to Declan Rice, who plays it into Mainu. One touch, lovely stuff. Mainu gets it out to Kane and gets the return into Declan Rice. Trent is in midfield too, but he bypasses Trent and comes out to Levi Colwill now. On the left-hand side, he has Gordon outside him. Gordon has it, Ireland back in their shape. Gordon into Grealish, one touch into Trent, who's a real free man in this England system at the moment. Trent back to Levi Colwill. There's only 1 minute added for halftime. Make sure, guys, get your messages in during halftime because it's going to be a long 15 minutes, let's face it. But I will briefly take you through during halftime some of this match action. But I get the feeling a lot of you are probably Spurs fans. So let's talk about Spurs during the halftime break and how we feel Spurs are shaping up for the rest of this season. England just playing it around now for the last 20 seconds, trying to make it to halftime, and Ireland happy to let them do that. They just don't want to concede another goal before the break. 5 seconds left. Trent Alexander literally just with his foot on the ball, and the ref blows up for half time. So Ireland 0, England 2. What can I say about it really? 1-0 up after the 10th minute. Declan Rice from a couple of chances that were blocked, and it fell to Rice around about the penalty spot. Top left-hand corner, beautiful finish. You couldn't write the script, could you? Well, you could write the script a bit better because Jack Grealish then scored the second goal. Bottom left-hand corner sweeping after some beautiful play between Rice and Saka on the right. Little 1-2. Comes back to Grealish, sweeps it home for his first goal of the season. And both the players who previously played for Ireland and swapped their allegiances to England have scored the goals. Let's go into the comments. Angela Kim. Angela, thank you so much for writing in. England was so boring under Southgate. Listen, I know what you mean, but Southgate did an incredible job for England. We've made it to 2 international finals under him, which would have been unheard of before. So let's not be greedy. Let's not be too greedy. We're very lucky that he came in, he changed things around, and now we need to push on and play the football that goes alongside what is needed, which is those results as well. Richard T. Thank you, Richard, for writing. I found you here when I didn't know it was on TV. Now got both on. That's called second screening, Richard. Top stuff. Enjoying your work, Barnaby. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. If you're not already a subscriber, please do press subscribe. I bring daily Premier League content, always starting with my beloved Spurs, but also the big kind of transfer rumours that are still doing the rounds, even though the transfer window has shut. It's not shut yet in Saudi Arabia and a few other countries. So I'm always bringing transfer news as well. Yeah, Max Valentine. Coleman's still playing. I was surprised too. He barely gets a game for Everton anymore. But there you go. Alan Glauber, read the comments before you read them out. Oh dear. Have I embarrassed myself? Am I going to get memed? Oh well, never mind. Laren Deb says to Richard, I just found Barnaby last week. He's fantastic. I joined up. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Vito Danu says, Ange will win the league and Champions League, then retire. Then Poch will come back. I mean, yeah, we talked earlier, didn't we, about potentially being a dreamer rather than being realistic. That might be a little bit much to hope for, but you just never know. Lisa CKG17. Southgate was weighing the talent of England players down. Sorry, he made poor in-game management decisions a little too often. With England's talent, they should have been attacking forward foot playing. Yeah, I don't disagree. I know what you mean, but it is hard to fight against Southgate's record. That's just the reality of it, I'm afraid. He did really well. And the other argument, I'm afraid, is that Most of the teams who win those tournaments, Spain, not a good example of this, but if you look at Argentina, if you look at Italy, who won the last Euros, beating England in the final, they play pragmatically. And Southgate will have looked at that data and thought that that's the best way to do it. And he nearly did. But yeah, we came up short. But frankly, when Southgate took over, if you'd have been told that you'd reach 2 international finals over the course of the next 5-6 years, I think we'd have all snapped your hand off. So very, very difficult to slag Southgate off for me. But I know what you're saying in terms of the style of play, and I do know what you're saying in terms of the in-game management. But yeah, I think it's fair enough. Ivan Woodhouse, thank you for writing in, Ivan. Starting to wonder if Poch was just a one-team wonder because of all the top players Poch had around him at Spurs. Well, just to use international football as an example, we had the golden generation and couldn't do much with that. So you can't kind of just say a manager is only good because of the players he has. Plenty of managers have had great players and found a way to not get them playing. And Pochettino was the right manager at the right time who got Spurs playing in a brand new way. And a lot of those players, when Poch came in, particularly Kyle Walker and Danny Rose, actually, were not highly rated by the Spurs fans. They didn't think they were going to make it at that point. And Poch came in and he really made the best of them. He was, if you remember, the fullback whisperer. And he made them into the players they became. Kyle Walker got his £50 million move and obviously 7 new families. And Danny Rose, kind of more famous, memeably famous for saying that he needed to Google every single player that Spurs bought. But they were both great players for Spurs. El Dante says, Poch built that team, even Woodhouse. Well, a lot of it. Look, it's all subjective, and I think we can both be right, basically. Alan Glorb, I just arrived. Is England playing better than under Southgate? Well, Alan, thank you so much for writing in. I think Ireland are poor. That's the first thing to say. But England are playing some lovely fluid stuff. Little one-touch, two-touch triangles in the midfield have scored 2 lovely goals. One of them, particularly the second one for Jack Grealish. Beautiful one-touch stuff, 1-2 stuff out on the left, cut back. Grealish sweeps it home. And Grealish did celebrate in a big way, but when Declan Rice scored his first goal, he gave it the old, I'm not going to celebrate against my former club. Well, in this case, I'm not going to celebrate in front of my former international team. Weird. Laren Deb, Saka plays his position superbly. He's a beautiful player, Bukayo Saka. It's just a shame he plays for Arsenal. Noah S. Noah, thank you so much for writing in. Really appreciate it. He says, reportedly, US soccer execs flew to Barcelona yesterday to ink the deal with Poch. Maybe announced today around the America-Canada game. Yeah, well, I spoke earlier about Pochettino for America. It's an interesting one. I'm sure he'll do fine there. But did he not fancy kind of waiting to see if England wanted to appoint him? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Would Pochettino make a good England manager? I think he'd be perfect. Really good. But I do like the football that we're playing, the Cars ball we're playing. Anthony Gordon, an absolute outlet for England this first half, by the way. He's got in down the left time after time, and he was certainly very much responsible for the first stage of play for the first goal against Declan Rice. And that little bit of pace has really helped us. Richard T, thank you for writing in, Richard. Who do you think will be the next Spurs player to play for England apart from Madders? Well, who are the options? We don't have that many English players, do we? Let's have a look at Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogi, nothing there. Basuma, no. Madders, obviously in midfield. Basuma with Pape Matar, no. Deki Kulusevski, no. Brendan Johnson's Welsh. Who will be the next? I mean, Mikey Moore? Is it going to be as far as Mikey Moore in the future? Who knows? Richard T, let me know what you think in the comments. Also, guys, 68 likes so far, 77 of you watching at the moment. I know halftime's very boring, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Get in the chat. Also, press the like button. And any of you who are not subscribers to my channel, do press the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I'll bring you daily Premier League content, transfer rumors, and Tottenham news. That's what I'm all about. And really appreciate you being here. Let's get up to that 70 likes. Thank you, whoever just gave that like, up to 68. Really appreciate it. Daniel Houston says, England look better already. Yeah, it's been a good first half. Ivan Woodhouse says, Southgate really disappointed given the host of great players he had at his disposal. I don't know. I just think it's so easy to hate on Gareth Southgate. But like I said earlier, I just think we would have snapped, you'd snap your hand off, wouldn't you, to say 2 international finals in the period of an England manager when the previous England manager was, don't forget, Big Pint of Wine, Big Sam, who only played 1 game. And before that, Roy Hodgson. beaten by Iceland in an international tournament. Fabio Capello had a great England squad, couldn't get us anywhere near a final. You know, I just don't think we should abuse Southgate. He did a great job. I'm sorry. Yeah, the football wasn't beautiful, but it was all necessary, and the politics were bad when he took over. But I understand. I do understand what you're saying. Ivan, thank you so much for writing in. I appreciate it. Liston Hine says Argentina get clean sheets all the time. Yeah, they play pretty pragmatically, don't they, Liston? Let me know. Am I wrong? I mean, they certainly, when they won the World Cup, Messi did most of the damage. They've got great players going forward, but they're pretty pragmatic at the back. Although they didn't keep a clean sheet in that final. What was it in the end, that final? 9-8 to Argentina? No, it was on penalties, wasn't it? David Epikimi. I do feel Poch has some unfinished business with Spurs. I felt like he was starting to rebuild a new team before his sacking. Yeah, he certainly talked about having unfinished business at Spurs, hasn't he, Poch? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how likely it is that the timing will be right. Sorry, for him to come back to Spurs. Yeah, actually, it's worth asking, isn't it? In the chat, if any of you are Spurs fans, I know a few of you will be, who do you think should be the next manager for Tottenham after Big Ange Postecoglou? I've said at some of my videos recently, I just don't know where we'd go if we got rid of Postecoglou anytime soon, because obviously there is a corner of the Spurs fan base already kind of chuntering about Postecoglou's tactics, etc. But I did hear on a podcast this week an interesting one. I think it was on View from the Lane, the Athletic podcast, which you must listen to if you don't. And they mentioned maybe a possibility is Iraola from Bournemouth if he keeps doing good stuff at Bournemouth. And that actually made some sense to me. So that could be one for a couple of years' time. Excuse me, just having a little sip of water there. Oh, yeah, El Dante, that's right. Solanke. Yeah, Solanke could be the next one in the England squad for Spurs. Sorry, just answering an earlier question there. Gus Parker says, yes, David Poch just needed backing, but we all know how that is. Well, we were building a £1 billion stadium, and also Poch did just get Lo Celso and Ndombele, and that he just didn't have the time to kind of make the most of those players, I suppose. Lisa CKG, Gordon has been excellent so far. I totally agree. Mohammed Rahman, hey Barnaby, why were Arsenal called Woolwich? Because they originally were in Woolwich in South East London, and they moved from Woolwich to North London into Tottenham's patch incredibly recently, and that's why we're so angry about it. It was only 100 years ago. El Dante, yes, Pochettino would be good for England, but think Carsley is who should stay on. Yeah, he's looked good so far, but I agree. Someone said earlier in the comments, let's wait to see how he does against the better teams. Might not get too many opportunities to play better teams anytime soon, but yeah, I think that'll be good. Mike Barrow, defo more positive than Wales last night, but then HK is English. Makes a difference, I reckon. I heard that Wales played well last night, that Craig Bellamy's got Wales playing in a very high pressy Vincent Kompany Man City type way. Is that right, Mike? Let me know. Gus Parker, Gordon should have started in Germany. He should have got some game time in Germany, I have to say. He's a very direct player and always a good option. Daniel Houston, thank you again for writing in. I think Poch would do wonders with Spurs' squad. But isn't Big Ange doing wonders? I think Big Ange is a perfect manager for Spurs. Let's not forget how recently it was that Tottenham were absolute dross to watch under Jose Mourinho and under Antonio Conte. Let's not forget that. So it's so good to watch Spurs at the moment. I enjoyed that Newcastle game. I know we lost. It was frustrating. You could see what was going to happen almost. But, God, it was fun to watch. Made chance after chance after chance. And I'm still in the position now where I enjoy just watching Spurs playing beautifully and having other people, pundits and fans, enjoying watching Spurs play. Peter Hoth. Peter, thank you so much for tuning in and for commenting. I may be in a minority here, but I enjoyed watching Spurs under Harry Redknapp the most. Love your easygoing style, Barnaby. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you so much for writing, mate. Yeah, look, Harry, I loved Harry Redknapp. I loved the way he just said, boys, get it to Luka Modric. He's better than you. Just pass it to him. And he's right. And he was like, Roman Pavlyuchenko, run around a bit. He made it simple, and he got us playing some beautiful stuff, and he was the first manager to get us in the Champions League. I remember exactly where I was that night when Spurs beat Man City 1-0 at the Etihad to get into fourth place, to get in the Champions League. And let's face it, only Everton had broken the kind of monopoly of the bigger spending clubs to get into those Champions League places before. And then they lost in their qualifying game of the Champions League to Villarreal, I remember. So Spurs got that fourth place. I cried. I was up in, where was I? Nottingham, I think it was. Somewhere up north anywhere for a night out. I cried. I was drunk. I cried. And then, and then we had to play Young Boys, wasn't it? Young boys of Bern in the qualifier the next season, and we went 3-0 down in the first game, didn't we? On their AstroTurf pitch. I think maybe we got 2 goals back in that game and then absolutely smashed them at White Hart Lane. Harry had us playing. Rafa van der Vaart was playing, wasn't he? Gareth Bale in his pomp, Luka Modric. Lovely stuff. And got to the Champions League quarterfinals and then got absolutely smashed by Real Madrid when Peter Crouch got himself sent off, didn't he? Stupidly. Never mind. But love Crouchy. What a great influencer, football influencer Crouchy is now. Thank you, Peter, for writing that in. XXX just says Southgate trash. Bit harsh. Oh no, then comes in lack of identity, style of play. Well, look, I know what you mean, and it does look good that England playing fluidly under Carsley, but let's see what happens. It'll be interesting second half because Ireland will have to come out and try and get the next goal, and that could leave some spaces in behind. They're just showing some of the bench there. I'll just read out again some of the players on the bench for England who I think could come on, and I'd be interested in seeing Rico Lewis. I'd love to see him come and play. Morgan Gibbs-White, Angel Gomez, Eberechi Eze, and Noni Madueke. I think they'd be exciting players to potentially hit Ireland in the spaces behind them when they're coming forward. Daniel Houston, thank you, mate. Appreciate it for writing in again. Make Barnaby right. We did better under him than other managers, even if it wasn't a great watch. Appreciate that bit of support there. But look, as I say all the time, you don't have to agree with me at all. Football is subjective. That's what's great about loving football, isn't it? You can go down the pub or you can watch things like this and you can disagree with people. You can agree with people. As long as it's not abusive, I think it's all fair game. Josh Hayden, ordered a pizza for the second half. Wonderful. Really appreciate that, Josh. Guys, at home, 84 of you watching this watch along. Let me know what snacks you've got. Josh has absolutely brought up the right kind of content for us here. Let me know what snacks you've got. Let me know what food you've ordered in for the second half. Josh, let me know what you've got coming on that pizza and what the brand is. Loving that. Really appreciate that. Lisa CKG, I wish we had Arnie Slot. What a shame it did not happen. I always wondered why he didn't want the job. Any guesses, lol? Lisa, I think personally it's too early to say that we should have got Slot over Big Ange Postecoglou. Maybe Arne Slot. My instinct is that Arne Slot probably thought he could get a club with bigger money, more money, who could spend more money, who are higher than Spurs, more tradition, and that's what he got with Liverpool. He made the right decision to wait for him. But I do think it's very difficult to follow legacy managers. I've said this a lot on my videos, and I do think that Jurgen Klopp will be a very difficult act to follow. 1 second, just drop something. And therefore, although, look, no doubt Arne Slot has had a brilliant start to his Liverpool career, won the first 3 games. Let's give it 10, 20 games and see how he's doing, because I do think the pressure will be on him very quickly if Liverpool lose a few games in a row. Just so you know, by the way, Ireland about to kick off for the second half. It is, of course, for any of you not watching the game. Ireland 0, England 2 goals from Declan Rice and Jack Grealish. You could not write that script. If I was Irish, I would have put that in an accumulator for sure, because that's the kind of thing that happens in football. But Lisa, thank you so much for writing in. Yeah, Slot does look good so far, but let's see what happens in the long term. John Mooney, for me, Southgate had big problems with his timing of substitutions. You're not the first to say it today, John. In-game management. Hopefully the next manager will understand the importance of bringing on fresh legs at the right time. Well, without a doubt, that is becoming more and more important in modern day football, isn't it? As England, beautiful ball down to Declan Rice on the right-hand side. Lovely ball inside now to Grealish, who's taking up some great positions. Out to Anthony Gordon, who's now running at his fullback. Very direct. He gets to the byline, Gordon. Tries to cut it back, and it goes out for a corner. Lovely stuff from England at the beginning of the second half. Matt Doherty, ex of Tottenham Hotspur, with the clearance there. So John, yeah, thank you for sending that in. Yeah, in the modern day, it is very important to time your substitutions well and bring on fresh legs for sure. Let's see how Lee Carsley, Carsball does with that. David Epikimi, just imagine having a 140 winless streak. Congrats to San Marino for winning their first game against for 20 years. Absolutely agree. Mike Barrow, toothless. Don't know what you're talking about there, Mike. Don't know. Let me know what you're talking about. Just the corner comes in now. It's an in-swinger towards the back stick. I'll tell you what, the England player was being completely wrestled to the floor, but referees never give those. It could have been a penalty. Anywhere else on the pitch, it would undoubtedly have been a free kick. Steve Feltner. Steve, you're a member. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. He says, Poch and Lucas and Hugo bonded me to Spurs. Now I have to start paying attention to the US program. Yeah, fair enough. I'll definitely be watching the American international team more now that Pochettino is their manager. That is for sure. Thank you for writing in. XXX says Spurs lack 2 important players. thank you for writing in XXX. Just two, he says, one in the midfield, one in the forward area. XXX, let us know who you would want Spurs to get, if we could get any important players there. Tage, thank you for writing in again, Tage. We're up to 83 viewers now, guys. I really appreciate it. Tage says, when/if Ange goes, Levy must go with him. He had so many chances to appoint the right manager, and except Poch, he's failed almost every time. Look, I know a lot of people are very angry at Daniel Levy, but Daniel Levy owns 21, 22% of the club, so he's not going anywhere. He is an owner of the club. It's only when ENIC or the board, the bond, is it the bond? No, who am I thinking of? The trust, sorry, that Joe Lewis has said now owns Tottenham, decide to sell, that Daniel Levy would potentially go. And then even then, from reports you hear, Daniel Levy wants to stay on as chairman if Spurs do get more investment or do sell. So I don't think Daniel Levy will be leaving anytime soon. And look, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but a lot of other fans from other clubs look at Daniel Levy as a great chairman and think of Spurs as a brilliantly run club, putting together a project to really challenge the top echelons of football, the upper echelons of football over the next 10 years or so. So let's see what happens. But I also understand why people get frustrated with Daniel Levy. Daniel Hewson, thank you for writing in again. Very happy, Ange. You asked who would be Spurs' next manager. My answer, Poch or Glasner. Yeah, Oliver Glasner from Crystal Palace. He started well there, didn't he? Let's see how he does this season. Obviously, he won the Europa League with Eintracht Frankfurt, didn't he? Incredible. It just shows how powerful the English Premier League is, doesn't it, in terms of financially, that they can get, Crystal Palace can get the manager of the Europa League winning team. But actually, I heard that at the end of last season, after he joined Crystal Palace, Bayern Munich went for Glasner and Palace refused to let him go. He was disappointed, apparently. Oh, lovely little touch from Declan Rice into Kane. Kane gets it back, but he's slow, Harry Kane, these days. And he doesn't look sharp. I don't think he looks sharp, Harry Kane. Let me know in the comments what you think of Kane's performance so far. El Dante said, thought we played well second leg versus Real Madrid. At least I was there when we beat Real Madrid 3-1 in 2017 in Club Wembley. Loved it. I was there for that game as well with my best mate, Ben Richardson. And we could not believe it as Spurs destroyed Real Madrid, who I think may have even been Champions League winners at the time. The holders destroyed them. Dele Alli with a goal, Christian Eriksen with another, wasn't it? Beautiful performance at Wembley. We thought that it would be a nightmare at Wembley when we had to go there, but actually we did really, really well. Triple X says, Eze, I'd love to see. Well, Eze, if you've been watching my videos all summer, I was sure that Eze was going to join Spurs this summer. And I think in the end, Richarlison not leaving probably stopped that from happening. Saka now has the ball on the right. Cuts inside, as he likes to do. Grealish has shown for him. Grealish lays it back to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who wins a free kick. What is this? 38, probably 40-odd, 42 yards out, probably too far out for a strike. But look, just shows Trent Alexander-Arnold starts at right back for England when we're defending, but has absolute free reign to go and pop up in central midfield when we have the ball. And I think that is a perfect use of his powers. Back to Eze, who's obviously on the bench for England today. Yeah, I thought he was going to come, but I think Richarlison not moving to Saudi meant we didn't have that money to then spend on Eze. So let's see if we try and get him in January or the budget next season, but I fear we might have missed our chance. Trent into the back post. Maguire gets up. Oh, heads it across the box, but it's well cleared. But Maguire wins it back, gets it out to Anthony Gordon on the left, and England recycle the ball. 50 minutes gone. Ireland 0, England 2. Again, comfortable for England this second half so far. Just playing some nice little 1- and 2-touch stuff, little triangles, spreading the play. Or Declan Rice tried to play Saka in with an inside ball, as Arsenal love to do, but it was a bad pass from Declan Rice. And then Ireland just try and hack the ball upfield. They've been very disappointing so far, I have to say. Trent is going to get it back to the keeper. Yeah, and he does. El Dante had season ticket that season, but each Champions League match cost me 95 quid. So that was a lot. Yeah. John Mooney says beer. I was asking what snacks you guys are getting. Good decision. Do you know what? I was thinking of getting a few beers for this watch-along. As Anthony Gordon has a chance. It gets to the byline out. Oh, Jack Grealish trying to cut it back, but he gets it back again. Grealish. I was going to get a couple of beers for this watch-along because I'm going to a party after this, a big friend's 40th birthday. But then I thought, problem is I have a small bladder. And if I start drinking these beers, I will have to go off to the toilet at some point. And I just think it's unprofessional when I'm doing a live watch-along to leave you guys with just a blank screen with just Diego Maradona in the background. And Maradona wouldn't drink beer, would he, whilst doing it? He'd find some other substances to do during a live watch along. 71 people watching at the moment, 74 likes. Look at that. More likes than people currently watching this game. That is terrific engagement, guys. El Dante says, no snacks, but had sandwiches and protein shake earlier after gym work. Yeah, get down the gym, get ripped. Lauren Deb, I'm eating licorice, all sorts for the second half. Old school. Nico, thank you, Nico, for writing, but you retracted your message. Max Valentine, cup of tea and a bifter for me. There we go. I just mentioned Maradona and extracurricular activities, and you've gone straight in there, Max. Well done. Card says Polish pickles. Look at this. Danny Houston got a curry on the go. I'll tell you what, guys. Let me know. Keep me going with what you are eating and snacking. I love this. Tage Degerland is a couple of beers. John, he's saying, John, it's money that he's having beers. Absolutely right. Nico says, Ange probably wants out after the Man City game last season. No, I don't think so. I think Big Ange just kind of misjudged the reality of the strength of hatred from Spurs fans towards Arsenal fans. Lovely ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold into Bukayo Saka, who's free down the right. Facing up two Irish defenders here. He's going to bring it back, I would have thought. No, he goes to the byline. Well done, Saka. Cuts it across. It's a corner. Oh, that's lovely to see Saka going down the right-hand side as well when all the Irish defenders thought he'd cut in on his left for sure. Lisa CKG, John says, John Mooney, exactly right. Southgate had issues with not knowing when to substitute. You waited way too long to bring on fresh legs, and that hurt England. Yeah, okay, I don't disagree. Mike Barrow, as a Welsh Spur and watching Spurs players playing for Wales gives me a different perspective. The best two players for Wales last night were Spurs players, and I assume that was Brennan Johnson and Ben Davies. Good to hear. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate that. Gus Parker, did you just cross yourself when you said Matt Doherty? Haha. Yeah, I did. I cross myself whenever I talk of a player who used to play for Spurs and has left. Matt Doherty, actually one of the few players who's played for Spurs. It's just a corner here from Saka, cleared by Ireland. One of the few Spurs players who's left who hasn't gone on to win a trophy yet, as far as I can tell. Alan Glauber, thank you, Alan, for writing in. Levy gets a hard time because he's an uncharismatic cold fish, but he's done a good job overall, I reckon. Yeah, listen, I don't personally think it's up to chairman of football clubs to be charismatic. Steve Parish, chairman of Crystal Palace, is charismatic, does a lot of press. And I think it's probably a bit more bearable for Palace fans because expectancy is lower. Expectations are lower. But if Daniel Levy was going on TalkSport all the time, for instance, I think Spurs fans would have a huge problem with that. And him being uncharismatic, for me, goes ahead with him being a good businessman. And he is, let's put it this way, Spurs are nowhere near getting any points deductions for PSR or anything like that. So if you look at clubs around us like Newcastle, like Aston Villa, all having to sell their players for PSR, I think Tottenham are in a good place. Vito Danu, thank you for writing in. Levy is in his 60s. Just retire, Daniel, please. Sorry, mate. He's not retiring anytime soon. Guys, we've gone 79 viewers, 77 likes. I want those likes back up above the viewers. Get those likes in if you haven't already. I really appreciate your engagement, though, guys. Honestly, so good. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do press that subscribe button. Daily Premier League content, always starting with my beloved Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, who, let me see if I can do this. There, Diego Maradona did actually once play for Tottenham in Ozzy Ardiles' testimonial. Look how hard I found it to get my finger working. Now I've got it up Diego Maradona's butt. That's weird. He did once play for Tottenham at White Hart Lane for Ozzy Ardiles' testimonial. We just have a little break in play now. 55 minutes gone. Ireland 0, England 2. Wouldn't surprise me at all if it stayed like this because Ireland won't want to concede any more goals and they'll just play deep. But we've got a little stoppage for an injury and they're just showing the replay. I think it's Seamus Coleman who basically just runs into Harry Maguire. That's why the injury has happened. Lauren Deb, thanks for writing in again. Harry Kane needs to come back to Spurs. He's homesick. I don't think he's going to go anywhere until he wins something. And then he'll want to come back to the Premier League to score lots of goals. But now we've bought Solanke. Don't think that's going to happen. Steve Feltner. Steve, thank you for writing in. I appreciate it. Guys, get in the comments. Loving talking to you today. Also, I've been thinking the same thing as you about Ben. Talking about Ben Davies, I assume. Heard an in-depth interview with him some months ago that left me with that thought. Sounds like ideal coach material. Love it. Yeah. Mappin Prezai. Are you Irish, Barnaby? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm an 8th Irish. I'm an 8th Irish. That's the best I can offer, which is that my grandma, I think this is right, my grandma's mother was fully Irish. So I'm an 8th Irish. I supported Ireland in the 1994 World Cup when England didn't make it, but I'm afraid I've got so much trauma from being an England fan that I could never not support England. But thank you, Mapin, for writing, and I appreciate it. Back onto the snack trip, guys. I've been asking you what snacks and drinks you're having while you're watching this watch along, as well as the Ireland versus England game. Alan Glauber, I've got some pink and white candied peanuts. Alan, let me know where you are. You're saying candied. You must be in North America. That's my prediction. David Abakimi, those were the days when footballers would drink and smoke during games. Lol. That's so true. Not that long ago, I think David Ginola used to smoke in the Tottenham changing room. Certainly Fabian Barthez did for Manchester United. But certainly back in the day, back in my parents' generation, they used to... well, another one who used to drink, actually, Paul Gascoigne, used to have a little brandy, I think, before games. But that's a little bit more bleak than we should probably go into, I guess. Tage Duggerland says, of course you should have some beers. We understand if you need to empty the bladder. Yeah, it's a bit late now. I didn't buy the beers in the end, but I will definitely be having a good few drinks afterwards at my friend's 40th birthday party. Looking forward to that. What are you guys doing tonight? Saturday night? Looks like England are going to win this game unless something weird happens. What are you going to do to celebrate? Actually, as I say that, England's back forward just let it bounce in their own 18-yard box. But Gahey, very, very brave in the way that not only that he let the ball bounce, but then just put his foot on it and got rid of it. Stephen Pye, love hearts and a coffee. Great stream. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words, but also, cool, love hearts. Haven't had love hearts for a long time. As Ireland get the ball out wide right. Chance for them to get across him potentially. Cuts it back. Big chance for Ireland. Oh, Smodits. It was actually almost a carbon copy of the Jack Grealish goal, as the ball was a beautiful sweat ball out to the right-hand side. And they cut the ball back, and it comes to Smodits. What is he? Yeah, he's about 13 yards out and tries to hit it to the near post and hits it wide. And I think I want to see an angle from behind the goal. I think Pickford probably would have had it covered, but there was bad marking from England then. It was just after I'd said England will probably win this game quite easily unless something mad happens. And then Ireland very nearly scored. But anyway, England now playing it out from the back, gets to Rice, into Trent. England playing some good stuff out the back here. Steve Feltner thought seconded when Ben was retained by Ange, despite house from so many of our supporters. Yeah, Ben Davies is a great pro, and you've got to have great pros in your squad. And look, Ben Davies will get some game time this season as the fourth choice centre half, I predict. But also probably as the second choice left back if Destiny Udogie gets suspended or injured. Udogie got a good assist for Italy after coming off the bench last night, actually. So that'll be good for his confidence, which is excellent. Thank you again, Steve, for writing in. Liston Hines, thank you so much for writing in again. As a Swedish Spurs fan, these Nations League games are as dull as they come. We've been so bad in recent years, we're now literally playing in the C division. But you've got Decky, you've got Lucas Bergvall, and wasn't there Victor Gyökeres and Isak had a good pairing together the other night, didn't they? They both got goals. So you'll get yourselves back up the divisions and maybe play England in the top division in the next few years, maybe in 4 or 5 years' time. Tage says, can't find the like button on my phone. Oh, don't worry, mate. But if you do find it, press it. Daniel Houston, all Ange has to do is to get the mentality right. Sadly, that's the hardest thing to do. It is the hardest thing to do. I think that's a really good point, Daniel, because the Tottenham mentality is basically from the bottom to the top of the club from a number of years. We haven't won anything, so we don't know how to win. And there's lots of pressure from the press, from fans, from pundits, from everyone. Look at it in terms of Manchester United, right? Manchester United won everything for years, and then they've not won anything for a number of years. And I don't think it's coincidence, just as Ireland come forward, and that's good defending from Levi Colwill. Really good defending, good strength. I don't think it's coincidence, right? Oh, and then Colwill's given the ball away, and it breaks to Ireland in the box. It's going to be a chance for another shot for Ireland here. Over the bar. England just being a little bit lackadaisical here. 60 minutes gone and 2 chances for Ireland to get shots on goal. And the fans, the Irish fans, they want to see more, and they're getting a bit more into the game. Just talking about Man United and mentality. I don't think it's coincidence that since Ferguson left, also all of Man United's players from the successful years have become pundits. And therefore, it ramps up the pressure. I'm talking particularly of like Gary Neville, Roy Keane. And they always just say on Sky, it's not good enough. We did this, we did that, and they're not as good as we are, blah, blah, blah. And it adds to the pressure. And bear in mind, that's a team who won things up to about 10 years ago. Spurs haven't won the league since 61. So there's a lot of kind of negativity in terms of how people think about Tottenham's chances of winning things. And that is what Ange is trying to put right. And it's going to take time. So Daniel, I completely agree. And thank you once again for writing in. Guys, please do keep coming forward with the chat. 76 of you watching at the moment. 87 likes. I'm loving this, guys. Let's try and get up to 100 likes. This is my first live stream on my channel. Really enjoying it, guys, and really appreciate your support and all the comments that are coming in. Don't forget some of the side hustle comments I'm going for. What are you eating? What are you drinking with the England game? Where are you watching from as well? Let me know. I am in London. I'm in London, England. That's where I'm watching this. Spurs fan, live in London. I was born in East Dulwich, actually, guys. So theoretically, I should be a Palace fan, but I'm not. I'm a Tottenham fan. England. Oh, England have just given the ball away in their own 18-yard box. Who was it being I think it was Trent maybe there with a pretty dodgy pass, but England have got the players back now. Ireland still have the ball on the left-hand side. They're going to get a cross in, and there's nobody there. Just England playing a little bit of Harry Kane in their own 18-yard box. They would be absolutely pulverized by a better team if they did that, but this is why you've got to play. Alan Glauber, thanks again. He says he's in South Africa. Hello to any of you in South Africa. Brilliant. Mike Barrow is on the cider. Love it. Liston Hines doing some Swedish chat to Tage. I love that. Got the Swedish fans in. Loving that. Someone paid for me to come out to Stockholm and watch some Spurs games with you guys. Swedish Spurs. I'd love to do that. It'd be incredible. I've never been to I've been to Scandinavia. I was going to say I've never been to Scandinavia. I went to Norway for one night. Went to Tromsø. Went to see the Northern Lights. Didn't see it. Jack Grealish in a good position now. Driving. Yeah, and another foul. How many fouls? That's where if I was still gambling, I don't gamble anymore, but I would be betting on how many fouls Jack Grealish would have against him. Richard T having a cuppa, good lad. Tage, Ben Davis is an unsung hero. Always gives all he's got whenever he's called upon. John Mooney, Warsaw, Poland. Love that. What are you doing in Warsaw with a name like John Mooney? Or are you Polish, but you have a name like John Mooney? Exciting stuff. Tage, you found the like button. Love it. Guys, thank you. 89 likes so far. Let's get up to 100. Press that like button. Really helps me. And thank you, everyone, for watching this first watch along on my channel. I really appreciate it. Let me know, guys, would you tune in for watch alongs of the big Premier League games that aren't Spurs related? Because I'm planning on doing some of them as well. So like the Monday Night Football or the Super Sunday, if they're kind of the big matches involving those teams around Spurs, the top six. That's kind of my plan. Let me know if you'd watch that. Everman says he's from Hong Kong. Loving this. Vito Danu, greetings from Indonesia, Barnaby. Guys, wherever you are, I'm loving how far away you guys are. Let me know what time it is there. Laren Deb, Ontario, Canada. Brilliant. Card, Berlin, Germany. Love it. Tage, Sweden. Vasteras for all you Game of Thrones fans. I'm not really into fancy stuff, guys, but I did watch Game of Thrones in the first season. And having worked in TV for a lot of my career, I have to say I was impressed by the way the producers of Game of Thrones and the writers were just like, just in case anybody gets bored watching this show, what we'll do is every 2 minutes, we'll just show a pair of breasts or someone's head getting chopped off. They knew their demographic. They knew who they were playing to, and it worked, didn't it? But fancy's not really my thing. Jay Cunningham, watching from Belfast. Couldn't listen to ITV, rather listen to your sweet tones. I love Belfast, Jay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. An ex of mine used to live in Belfast. So I've been to Belfast a fair few times. Love it there. Great stuff. Steve Feltner, St. Louis, Missouri, USA. All for City SC. St. Louis, Missouri. Love it. Love it, guys. Thank you so much. Noah S. Thank you for writing in, Noah. Trophy talk is bogus. In 2024, would an EPL side rather finish fourth or win the Carabao Cup? Excellent point, Noah. This is something I talk about all the time. Man United, they won the FA Cup last year. Now, look, I would do anything for Spurs to win the FA Cup. I'd love it. I want us to win the Europa League. I want us to win the Carabao Cup. But Ten Hag, despite winning the FA Cup, despite winning trophies the year before, didn't he? He is under pressure because he has no style of play and he has no forward thinkingness and he's finishing outside of the top four. And therefore, it's not as simple as just win a trophy and everything will be okay. We need to be, I think Poch had the right attitude, which is go for the big trophies. And we nearly did it. And I think Ange is similar. And that's what I want. I want us to win the league at some point soon. I want us to win the Champions League. But don't get me wrong. I also want to win some kind of trophy. That's for sure. But lovely. I love that comment, Noah. Thank you so much. Rakesh, thank you for writing in. You're in India. Love that. Neil Enigma, 77. Born in Harlow, Essex, now living in Dalby, Sweden. Well, Neil, let me tell you something that might surprise you. My mum, born in Harlow in Essex. So I have some Harlow in me. Mum's from Harlow, dad from Liverpool. And they met because they were both musicians, worked in the music business. So I used to spend a lot of time, because my grandparents, when I was a kid, till I was about maybe 7 or 8, they lived in Harlow as well. So I remember Harlow. And also my best mate, just totally coincidentally, Ben, my best mate, he is from Harlow as well. So every year I go up to Essex and play in a golf tournament there because I'm old. And then we go to his dad's house afterwards to shower. So I always go to Harlow. So great for you. Great to hear from you, Neil. Love it. And now in Dalby, Sweden. Liston, Barnaby, our Swedish attack is actually excellent. Ishak had 2 goals and 1 assist, and Gyökeres 1 goal and 2 assists. But the defense and midfield is a different matter. Okay, well, you'll score a lot of goals. So that's some positivity there, Liston. But yeah, back in the day, I remember back in the 90s, Sweden had a lot of centre halves, didn't they? And midfielders who played in the Premier League. Maybe that's less the case anymore. Have you got any more coming through? Eva Man, thank you for commenting. Hong Kong, it's 1:30 a.m. What are you doing up at 1:30? What did you do earlier on, guys? Sorry, Eva Man, let me know what you did earlier on. Were you out on a late one? Are you drinking? Or you wanted to watch the England game? Mike Barrow, a Spurs fan since 66, 67. And in my time, Spurs were in the earlier decades a cup-winning machine. That's right. Yeah, I'd watch your watch-alongs. It must be better than Mark Goldbridge. Oh, England have won the ball up high here. Chance. Saka outside the box. Tries to cut in, but that's where all the Irish players are, and we've had to go backwards. But he gets it out to Grealish. Gordon's in on the left. As a dig. Straight into Kelleher's arms, and he catches it. 68th minute. That's the first time for a long time I've got excited about that game. It's classic international football at the moment. Declan Rice has just gone down. He looks a bit injured. What's happened there? Oh, he just got clipped after passing. He's not happy about it either. Of course, Declan Rice, with my Spurs hat on, suspended from the Tottenham Arsenal game anyway. Okay, just going to get... Thank you, Mike Barrow, for writing that in. I don't know Mark Goldbridge personally. I know he gets a lot of abuse, but you cannot deny that he works hard. And if you work hard at anything, you deserve the trappings that come with that. It is interesting. I do wonder, how much he's kind of purposely very similar to Alan Partridge, because, of course, Alan Partridge started as a parody of a sports commentator, or whether that's really who he is. I kind of think it's probably a mix between the two. But he does really well for himself, Mark Goldbridge, and fair play to him. Why not? Rabbi Jokkanen, Rabbi Jokkanen. I'm from Vestfold, Norway, for all of you Lord of the Rings fans. Daniel Houston, stuck out in Peru for the past 34 years, but born in Stepney, East London. Daniel, tell me in the comments, what took you to Peru? Gary Huggins, another person who lives in Harlow. Top stuff. Thank you for writing in. Appreciate that. Alan Glauber, you're not old, bud. I'm lucky. I don't look as old as I am, but I am old. Peter Hoth. Yes, I tune in, Barnaby. Really enjoying this watch along. Mind you, I'm sitting here watching with a glass of vino, a glass of wine. Good lad. Yeah, I think for any future watch alongs, definitely when we're watching other Premier League games, I will get a couple of beers in as well. And undoubtedly then I'll get significantly funnier, or at least I will think I'll be funnier. I'll try and say funny things. It might be just, it might not be that funny, but let's see what happens. Nico, Spurs should swap with Man United. Ten Hag will get you trophies and Man United will win the Prem. I don't think many Spurs fans would be happy with Ten Hag as manager. But the confusing thing, just as Ireland chip a free kick into the box, they win it at the back post. And it's come to an Ireland player. Yeah, they've got a chance to get a cross in here from the left. Tell you what, this game would get interesting if Ireland scored now. Decent cross. Yeah, Ireland just lacking a bit. And also, England now on the transition. Anthony Gordon running hard. Ireland have got 3 men back. He's on the left, Gordon, and he's just tried to take it down the left, but good defending by the Irish there. What's interesting about Ten Hag, just to go back to that, is that his Ajax team, when Spurs beat them in the semi-final of the Champions League in 2019, they had such a specific style of play, lovely, fluid, classic Dutch football. Really surprises me that he hasn't been able to bring that over to Man United. Let me know in the comments why you think that is, because he must be trying. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem to take. Ireland just coming forward with the ball. It's now 71 minutes gone, guys. The second half has been very boring, I'm afraid. Kind of more classic international football, I'd say. England have not been as fluid. Maybe Ireland have made some tactical tweaks as they run on the right-hand side there. But Colwell does well. Gordon now back to Colwill, who's coming forward a little bit. He's going to lay it back to Gordon, I'm sure, and does. Kane has been pretty much anonymous in this game, I have to say. Very average at the moment. But you're going to get the ball over to Declan Rice now, running through central midfield over the halfway line. He's got Saka to his right. He finds Saka, and Rice goes down the line for the seconds, and they realise he's not going to give it to him. And Saka finds inside now Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it all slows down in classic international football style. So I'll go back into the comments. Let's have a look. Yeah, just finishing what I was saying about Ten Hag. Yeah, let me know in the comments why you think Ten Hag cannot put a style together for United. Meanwhile, Vito Danu says, you don't look that old, Barnaby. How old are you? I'm 43 years old, believe it or not. Yep. And you'd think that would mean I had a good skincare regime, but my girlfriend says not. So there you go. Gus Parker, Glenn Stromberg, he was good. Don't know who that is. Is that someone trying to make me say something and get me on a meme again? Or am I being stupid? Probably being stupid. Whatever. Rakesh Tiwari, winning a trophy is a priority for a club like Spurs because if we don't, we will lose the support and no one will take us seriously. Rakesh, I love that comment. Thank you, mate. I think it's a bit more nuanced than that. What I loved, I'll tell you what I loved. During the Pochettino years, when everybody talked about us, we were coming second and third and getting to the Champions League final, League Cup finals. Spurs, there were lots more Spurs shirts around, people wearing Spurs shirts. Now, a lot of that will have been because they weren't embarrassed to wear them because we were good. But also, I just got the feeling that a lot of young kids wanted to support Spurs. They loved Dele Alli. They loved Harry Kane. They loved Christian Eriksen, Kyle Walker and Danny Rose. And that's something that I guess will have dropped off in the last 5 years. That next generation kind of wanting to support Spurs. You're not really going to watch Spurs and love watching them under Conte and Jose and Nuno. So that would have dropped off. But I'm confident that under Ange, with the type of football we play and the amount of chances we make, and hopefully now if Solanke stays fit, we can take some of those chances. I'm hopeful that we'll get another generation of fans. Thank you, Rakesh, for writing that in. I really appreciate it. Up to 91 likes, guys. Maybe we've maxed out the likes. I want to get to 100 if we can. And of course, any of you who haven't subscribed, press that subscribe button. Really appreciate you all being here. Liston Hines says, how many Swedes are actually in here? Surely we must be statistically overrepresented. There has been some Swedish-only chat, which I love. Maybe my Swedish followers, my Swedish audience, will force me to learn Swedish. That would be pretty cool. I'm still trying to hold on to my fairness in my hair, just so I can maybe go to Sweden one day and be thought of as slightly Swedish. Charlie J, enjoying the show from Nashville, Tennessee. Hashtag Nashville Spurs. Oh my God. I would do anything to come out to Nashville and watch some Spurs games with the Nashville Spurs. Let's make that happen, Charlie. Get in with the Nashville Spurs and tell them to watch my channel and let's get me over to Nashville one day. Steve Feltner. We're up to the 75th minute, by the way, in this Ireland-England game. It's 2-0 still. Steve Feltner says, what did your parents play? I mentioned earlier how my parents were musicians. Well, so my father was from Liverpool and he was in a band in the 60s called the Mojos. Or as I think of them, only the band the Beatles could have been. That is a line I've stolen from Alan Partridge. But they were pretty successful, had a couple of hits in the 60s. And then in the 70s, he went into A&R, which was signing bands. And at the same time, my mum was a kind of actress / singer. And she sung a song on the soap Crossroads that ended up getting to number 2 in the charts. And my dad met my mum, therefore, through the music business. And that's how they got together. So my dad played, to answer the question directly, my dad played the piano and was a singer. And my mum was a singer, but also plays the piano. My dad also played the guitar. Thank you, Steve, for writing. I really appreciate it. Ivan Woodhouse. I think Spurs started playing attractive football again when Martin Jol joined us. This was followed up by our lovely Harry. I agree. Loved big Martin Jol. Loved it when he squared up to Arsene Wenger on the sideline at Highbury. That was the starting point. I remember it was when we started wearing those Kappa kits, and particularly the Kappa, similar to the one we've got now, white shirt with blue sleeves. And I remember on our pre-season tour, I was like, actually, we're looking really good. England now making some substitutions. Grealish, number 10, going off, getting a booing, but he got his goal. He'll be pretty happy with that. And it looks like it's going to be Morgan Gibbs-White coming on for him. For any of you that don't know, Morgan Gibbs-White was the 10 who played a lot for Lee Carsley in the under-21. So that's why he's been given a chance here. Grealish slowly makes his way off. England fans giving him a good round of applause. And non-ironically, a man wearing a half and half England Ireland scarf there. And also Angel Gomez coming on for his England debut. And Yeah, he played in the DMC role, Gomez. Even though he was known as a winger, he played in the, or DCM, I think a lot of you would call it these days, the kind of anchorman role for Lee Carsley's under-21s team. And that means I'm sure he'll come on for Mainu. That would be my prediction. They haven't shown yet. Gomez plays out at Lille in France, but I'm sure now that he's playing for the England national team, yeah, Mainu is coming off for Gomez. I'm sure some English clubs will be looking at him because his contract runs out next summer. So also Anthony Gordon coming off. So one more change. Oh, Eberechi Eza. I love Eza. Let's get him the ball. What a player he is. Just love the way he glides over the turf. Lovely player. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, thank you, Ivan, for writing that in. I agree about Martin Yol. Hi from Mauritius, K. Udia. Thank you. Fully Coys. Love it. Thank you so much. Mauritian Spurs. Let's do it. Ivan Woodhouse. I'd love to come out to Mauritius, by the way. England now have got the ball to Gibbs White straight away. He's looking towards Saka. Finds Saka on the right-hand side. Gibbs White immediately kind of upped the tempo. Clearly wants to get on the ball. Cross from Trent Alexander-Arnold, but no one deep. Eza kind of chases out there, and I'm sure Ireland, yeah, it's just gone off for a throw-in. Ivan Woodhouse, Wino subs at 69 minutes while we wait till 75. Mike Barrow, this is more about you getting to know your new fan base. That's true. Tage says Goldbridge is decent, knows a bit of football. Yeah, fair enough. He certainly talks a lot, and he does know his stuff, that's for sure. Let's see. Ivan Woodhouse, enjoying your watch along while watching the game at the same time. Not done this before. Well, thank you, Ivan. Really appreciate it. Yeah, definitely be doing this for more of the Premier League games. And also, if you don't subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV, make sure you do, because I host the watch-alongs for them during the Spurs games. So that's always good. Rabbi Jokinen says, Norway with a forward line of Haaland, Sorloth and Nusa with Odegaard behind produced one shot on goal against Kazakhstan last night. Absolute disgrace. Yeah, why is that? That seems weird. I guess Kazakhstan just sat deep, I guess. Alan Glauber, I watch Goldbridge, and don't we all love the Man United? I don't know what word to use here because Barnaby is a little sensitive on language. I'd usually say chick, who supports Man United but loves Spurs. Eva Man says, I like watching football. I support Spurs. That's why I'm up. I've watched all your watch-alongs when Spurs play. Good man, or good woman. Eva Man, probably good woman, I'd say. Oh, Harry Kane has just been put in, but he's too slow to get away. He should have got... Oh, he was very... Oh, dearie me. You know, more than anyone, I love Harry Kane, but he looks so leggy today. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments. What has happened with Harry today? Gibbs White looks really sharp since he's come on. A few lovely little touches, and he's always wanting the ball. Very, very exciting that I think Carsley will pick a lot of... Oh my God, I have to say, Angel Gomez is tiny. So he's playing in that Mainu role, but I cannot believe how small he is. Sorry, it's... I'm absolutely shocked there. I don't know if it's the angle that I'm watching from. Gibbs White has just given away a foul, and it's not a booking. I thought it might be a booking. It was a bit of a slide in, but surprised how small Gomez is. That was weird. Laren Deb says 43. You look maybe 30. I'll take it. I wish you'd said 25. Alan Globe, I'm almost 57. I'm almost 57 and feel about 35 and talk like a 20-year-old. I don't think, in reality, I don't think we ever feel as old as we are, do we? Like in terms of our brain. But yeah, aging, huh? Alan Globe, I'm hardly grey except for my beard and I still have a lot of hair. Good to hear it. Daniel says this chat is far more interesting than the game at the moment. I agree. For the record, Mike Barrow was born 6 days after we did the double. First game 65-66, I think. Spurs 5, Forest 1. Yeah, let me know your first games, guys. If you're Spurs fans, let me know the first game you went to or the first Spurs game you remember watching. If you support anyone else, also feel free to tell me. Rabbi Jokinen says, well, with Drillo, we actually scored lots of goals. Very direct football. Now we just pass it sideways for 90 minutes. Oh, I just missed. Ireland got a cross in. Ooh, dangerous. Tage Deglin says, yeah, I can teach you. Presumably you're talking Swedish. Daniel Hewson, met a Latin lady while out in Israel, Peruvian. She dragged me out here kicking and screaming. Well, I bet you weren't really kicking and screaming. Andrew Cliff says, still boring. Snail-paced football, useless. That is just international football a little bit, I'm afraid. And the fact that they're winning 2-0 just means they're happy to sit on it, I guess. But yeah, second half hasn't been much fun. As Ireland win a throw-in up the pitch. Spurs T-Rex, Saka the crab who can't put a decent ball in the box for Harry to head. I think Saka's a great player, actually. Scott Jackson, great watch along, Barnaby. Follow your daily content. Thank you. Became a Spurs fan after the Poch era, so Angie's style is refreshing to me. Me too. Love this comment. American sports have gone mental over the past few years. Come on, you Spurs. Love it. Alan Glover says, I'm very into Celtic music and I mess about on drums and I want to buy a bodhran, an Irish drum. Okay, good man. Vito says, a little bit of nepotism from Carsley. Nice. Liston Hines, Glenn Strongbow is a Swedish football hero. Sorry, I didn't remember that. Played for Gothenburg and captain at Atalanta in the 1980s. Also very popular commentator. He's one of the guys who drew the teams in Europa League last week. Love it. Okay. Martin Yolbers, Gus Parker says, Martin Yolbers treated terribly. The League Cup win was his team and team spirit. I'll always credit him. Oh, hold on. I'll always credit him for that trophy, even though he'd gone by then. Fair enough. Pidgemondo1, thanks for writing in. Really appreciate it. Love your channel. Do you think we should have finally signed Adama Traore as an impact sub instead of Werner again? Feel like he could cause chaos late on in games where we were struggling. I'll tell you, if we'd signed Adama Traore, he would get exactly the same response from Spurs fans as Timo Werner. People would hate him just because he's got no final ball. Spurs T-Rex, Kane must have gone into shock right at the start of the game. He actually got a ball to head in the box. Not Saka, but Arnold replaced Saka with the right-footed player to give Kane service. Gus Parker, Father Time is caught up with Harry Kane. Colin Cross, everything is all right, Barnaby. I remember that song. Yes, that's my dad's song. Everything's all right. Thank you. Alan Glauber, we always feel the same, just look older. It's crazy. Tafari, the team needs Sterling to even go around 16 World Cup 2026. Do you mean Raheem Sterling? Seems unlikely. John Mooney, just Google Gomez and a massive 5'6". Yeah, 5'6", but also just so thin. He looks tiny. Anyway, only 8 minutes left of this game as Harry Kane wins a foul in central midfield. And he's gone down looking injured. Just take him off. Yeah, he is struggling. He is struggling. John Mooney. Rakesh, I know it's controversial, but we should have sold Son and got in a player like Kang in the league for big money because Son is done. I think every time anyone suggests that Son might be done, he always comes back and surprises you. So I don't think so. If we make the chances for Sonny, he will score goals. He'll score 15 to 20 league goals this season if we make him the chances. And I think we will. Excuse me. Only 7 minutes left and a couple more substitutions coming on. John Stones. Excuse me. My water went down the wrong way. I apologize profusely. John Stones will be coming on, as will Jared Bowen. Tage, first game White Lane, 93, 3-3 against Liverpool. Oh, I've actually watched highlights of that game quite recently. Is that the game where Sheringham? No. Does he score a goal that kind of goes over Grobbelaar kind of quite centrally? Let me know, Gus. Vito says, now selling Sonny, it's blasphemy. Yeah, I think it's a dangerous thing to suggest. Guys, we've only got about, as Kane comes off for Jared Bowen, it was the right time. He didn't have his greatest performance. And the press will start again getting on the back of Harry Kane, should he play for England. But I think in the long term, medium to long term, you don't want anyone else on your chances. Harry Maguire is the other player to come off for John Stones, who takes the captain's armband. Gus Parker, first match, Spurs 1, Derby 2, 89, went ahead, and then, that's Spurs for you. So thank you, all of you guys, just with kind of 6 minutes or so, 5 minutes or so left. Really appreciate you tuning into this. I'm really impressed that we've got 93 likes on this first watch along, and for an international game, when, let's face it, international football at the best of times is pretty boring. Jared Bowen wins the ball high up the park, though. That's good. England in a good position here, and Bowen still driving and has a dig. Kelleher makes a good save. And there you go, Bowen bringing a bit of pace to the game. First time for a long time we've seen anything decent from England. Gibbs White on the ball now. Just going backwards a little bit. El Dante, my first game was Spurs 1, Arsenal 0, when Paul Allen scored the winner. Laren Deb, Harry Kane is depressed and homesick. Come home, Harry. John Mooney, if Sonny has a 9 to put in the crosses, goals will fly. Hopefully Slanky will step up. We desperately needed a striker in the Newcastle game. That is for sure. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. 96 likes now. Let's try and get up to that 4 more likes for that 100 likes mark. Again, guys, any of you who do not subscribe to my channel, press that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Daily Premier League content, transfer rumours, everything, always starting with my beloved Spurs, Premier League news. And honestly, really appreciate all of you who watch every day. These videos are doing far better than I expected. I've already made it to 11,000 subs just in less than a year, which I did not expect. So thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. I just love talking to you guys. And these watch-alongs I'm going to do far more of, especially during those Premier League games where kind of the teams that are around Spurs are involved, because I do present the watch-alongs for Tottenham games for We Are Tottenham TV. So make sure you give them a subscribe as well. They're good guys. Oh, it looks like Declan Rice has just pulled up in central midfield, you know. Was it a little impact injury? Interesting. Tage says, I think it's too early for Sheringham. Hazard ran the midfield. Yeah, Mickey Hazard. He was a Spurs player back in the early 80s. Then he went to Chelsea and then came back to Spurs. Back then, Chelsea and Spurs they didn't hate each other quite as much, did they? Spurs T-Rex, Kane's been crying out for Bowen, but they take Kane off. Yeah, interesting. England now in down the right-hand side with Bukayo Saka, and they've got lots of men in the box here. But Saka borderline running that into the corner. It's a bit odd. 87th minute. Lauren Deb, Harry, it's been a pleasure to get to know you. Cheers. Robert Wilson, just subscribe, Barnaby. Thank you, Robert. Really appreciate that. And Lauren Deb, I mean Barnaby, lol. Lauren Deb, it's fine. Here we are, outside the box now. Eza, he's going to have a crack. Eza! Oh, over the bar. At least someone had a shot. I feel like that's pretty much the first shot we've had. And Eza did get hold of it. He cut in on his right foot from the left-hand side. Bowen laid it across the middle to Gibbs White, who laid it to Eza, cuts in on his right. Good strike on it. It's miles wide. It's absolutely miles wide. But do you know what? That's how boring the second half has been. But all you could say is it's been a professional performance by England. They ripped Ireland to pieces, really, in that first half. Could have had more than two. Second half, they just kind of sat on it, which, to be honest, if you think about it, I think they've got another game next week. And, you know, the amount of games that they will have to play in the Premier League, it's just reality that they're just going to sit on it like a training game. Yeah, we've got to 101 likes, guys. Round of applause. Let's get the applause emoji. First watch along, made it to 100 likes. Really appreciate it, guys. Really enjoyed this. Like I said, I'm going to do these watch alongs for the Premier League games, Sunday night football, Super Sunday games, and Monday night football when it's teams that are around Spurs. And then come and watch me on We Are Tottenham TV for the Spurs watch along. Sorry, I've been talking for nearly 2 hours now. Can you tell that I'm starting to lose my ability to speak? Daniel Houston, North London derby predictions, guys. No Rice or Calafiori. He's going 3-1 Spurs. 2-2. I'm going 2-2. I'm a bit scared of it, to be honest. Colin Cross, being Welsh, let's talk about the Mersey beat Jerry and the Pacemakers, the Searchers, the Mojos were all up there. They were up there with the Beatles. Appreciate that, Colin. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was my dad. He was in the Mojos in the 60s. Sadly, no longer with us. My dad passed last year, sadly, of dementia, but a top guy. And he loved football too. He was a Liverpool fan. And actually, in his latter days, because he lived in West London, a mate of his was a big Fulham fan. So he used to accompany him by getting a season ticket to Fulham when it was pretty cheap. And so he kind of started liking Fulham in the back end of his life as well, back in the days of Mohammed Al-Fayed being the Fulham chairman. Listen, Hines, does it mean to secretly wish for a little tiny Saka hamstring injury? No, it's not mean. Out for a week and a half. I like that. Vitu Danu, applause emojis. Thank you. El Dante agrees with your prediction. Who's in? John Mooney, I would go for 2-2 as well. El Dante, Udogi can close down Saka. John Mooney, hope I'm wrong, Coys. First game I remember, Neil Enigma, thank you. Yeah, the lost to Coventry in the 87 Cup final. That was the first game I remember as well. I remember watching it on TV. So John, we're probably of a similar, Neil, we're probably of a similar vintage. El Dante, let's have an applause for Barnaby and first watch along. Been great to be here for it. No, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And a lot of you have been in the comments, have been watching the whole time, which is massive. I really appreciate that. And let's get back on it. I'll pick a game over the next few days. Maybe I'll do one for the second England game. I'm not even sure who England are playing in the second game. But yeah, I guess there's a game probably, midweek? Maybe I'll do a watch along for that one as well. But let's face it, international football is boring. And England, it's like the England players know it's boring as well. They don't really care. They cared in the first half. Alan Globe, I wasn't even watching the game, just listening to you. I appreciate that, mate. I really do. Guys, have a great rest of your Saturday night as well, by the way. There's an extra, hold on. We've got added time, guys. Extra 5 minutes. So I thought it was about to finish, but it's not. Ireland get a cross in over the back. And the Irish player appealing for a penalty, but you're never going to get that, mate. That's soft. England trying to see out this 2-0 win. Let's face it, this is probably the hardest. Who we got? We've got Finland and Greece in our group. This is likely to be the hardest game in our group. So a 2-0 victory isn't bad. We've certainly lost easier games than this before. I remember when we went to Belfast and lost to a Northern Ireland team who didn't win a lot of games. I also had a Fulham season ticket while I was waiting for my Spurs season ticket to come through. Gus Parker. I didn't know England were playing till I put this video on. I think that kind of shows the apathy towards international football a lot of the time, except for when the competitions, the international major competitions in the summer are on. We all love it then, don't we? Tage, thanks, Barnaby. It's been a pleasure following the game with you. Stelmar, classy show, Barnaby. Appreciate it. I've really enjoyed it. Definitely going to do more of these. And yeah, let's get a community up of people who want to watch these watch-alongs. And yeah, maybe one day I'll also get my first ever super chat. Never received a super chat. I believe everything goes yellow when it happens. I'll tell you what, Ezra in at the back here. Oh, a little bit of a bad touch. John Mooney, hopefully Roy Keane will be quiet today. Yeah, and Colin Cross. Ben Davies was outstanding last night with Roden. They were solid. Joe Roden, how's he doing at Leeds? I never really felt he was quite the right player for Spurs, but glad he got his £10 million move, and he's doing well for Wales. England down the right with Saka here. Tries to get a shot off. Looks like it was blocked maybe by Jared Bowen himself, but Kelleher clears it. 2 minutes gone of the added 5 minutes as Levi Colwell battles with Evan Ferguson in central midfield. Evan Ferguson's come on. I didn't realise that. Lots of talk of him as a great player and potentially a future Harry Kane type player. But no clubs have gone big for him from Brighton, have they yet? 3 minutes to go of this England game. As I cannot get over how small Angel Gomez is. I don't know if I've ever seen a player as small, not only playing for England, but certainly playing in central midfield. It's incredible. Anyway, Saka in on the right now. Ireland look a bit leggy. Saka into Bowen. It's a good save by Keller. Saka got the ball in across the box on the floor to the near post. Bowen sweeps it in Richarlison like from the near post, but Kelleher got his foot on it. And it remains 2-0 to England with just 2.5 minutes to go of the game. Jordan Pickford with it now. Yeah, Colin Cross says Ferguson has dropped off a cliff. Yeah, he was being talked about as the next Harry Kane just 18 months or so ago, but not really. I don't know. Is he getting minutes for Brighton? Certainly wasn't starting for Brighton last season under De Zerbi. I wonder if that's changed so far this season. I don't think so, under their manager, who is the youngest player in the history of time. Saka is in down the right now. Drive at the goal, Saka. Drive at the goal. And he's saved by Kelleher. Saka didn't seem really... It seemed like he wanted to find someone in the middle more, but there wasn't anyone there. So eventually he goes with his left foot towards the far corner. Kelleher makes a save. He was offside anyway, Saka. Don't know why the liner didn't give it. Eventually, Kelleher makes the save, tips it, and it falls to Eze, and it's just a bit above him. He tries to head it first time, goes over the bar. Tage says, surely he can't be smaller than Modric. Well, Modric was small, but he had big, thick thighs, didn't he, Luka Modric? And so he was strong. It's actually a good save from Kelleher there from Bowen, because it could easily have gone through his legs. Just 1 minute and 20 seconds left now of this game, which really kind of plunged into a little bit of the boring zone in the second half. But a good win for England. Lee Carsley will be happy with that, especially with the first half performance. Goals for the ex-Irish players Declan Rice and Jack Grealish. So the script was written. In fact, Eze has just won it high up the pitch there for England. Good stuff from Eze. He's now driving at his fullback, and he's just lost the ball briefly, and England have given away a foul. 50 seconds to go now, guys. Daniel Houston says, Curry's ready. Great watch along. Boring game, but great chat. See you, Barnaby's channel. Have a great weekend. Colin Cross, Maradona was only 5'4", but look in the background. Look how big his thighs were. Angel Gomez, sure, he's short, but he's like thin. That's what surprised me almost. It's like the mix of it. But yeah, Maradona, what a player. Let me do my weirdness where I try and point him out. It's very difficult. There we go. Diego. Not only, as I said earlier, not only the greatest player of all time, but also one of the world's most naughty boys. And that's why he's on my wall in the background for my content. 15 seconds left, guys. England just stroking it around the back now. Comes out to Gibbs White on the... Oh, he's trying a little trick there, Gibbs White. It doesn't quite come off. Declan Rice sweeps up. A good win for England. Decent start for Carsley. They were fluid in the first half. Bit stodgy in the second. Guys, 5 minutes gone. I think the ref's blowing up. He is. Thank you so much for watching. Please do press that subscribe button. Please keep following my daily content. Really appreciate it. And I'll be back for another watch along. If not for the England game in the week, then definitely for a big Premier League game coming up soon. And I'll be there on We Are Tottenham TV for the next Spurs watch along, which is, of course, what is it, next Sunday? Tottenham Hotspur versus Arsenal, the big one. Come on, you Spurs.